Dealing with an accident and injury claim can be overwhelming. Let Phillips Law Firm fight for you. We understand the pain and suffering, and we're here to guide you through. Call 1-800-JUSTICE today for a free case review, or visit justiceforyou.com and let Phillips Law Firm help you on the road to recovery.
Most of you aren't just listening right now. You're driving, cleaning, and even exercising. But what if you could be saving money by switching to Progressive? Drivers who save by switching save nearly $700 on average, and auto customers qualify for an average of 7 discounts. Multitask right now. Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $698 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2021 and May 2022. Potential savings will vary. Discounts not available in all states and situations.
Hey, it's Mike Hawk. Join me every Thursday at 1 p.m. exclusively on the Odyssey app as we go live with Odyssey. Join in on the action as we cover interesting facts, top 10 lists, and some fun new games. Follow the Men's Room page on the Odyssey app and join in all the fun Thursday afternoons at 1.
Unfortunately, what you're about to hear is real. The members of this radio program are simply not that bright, or what some people would call educated. They are merely stupid. They're not trying to offend anyone on purpose. And all have played doctors on TV. You have been warned and are cordially invited to join the party. This is the Men's Room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. You know what they say, shake your radio more than 3 times, and you're playing with it. You're listening to the Men's Room.
And away we go. Welcome to Season 18, episode number 3,860. Along with Steve the Thrill Hill, the Ted Smith, and Mike Hawk. And you on the Men's Room. On tap today, the return of Who Sucks Less. We will play Profile This, plus headlines, a Men's Room Shout of the Day, fun listener emails, and everyone's favorite, TV Time with Ted.
Click, clack.
Drinking and drunk. All right, here we go. North Carolina family complains that their next-door neighbors are driving them nuts. I don't know about you, but smoking marijuana soaked in butane, that definitely takes some guts. It's a really bad day when your pet zebra bites off your arm. Oklahoma monkey will no longer cause the neighbors any harm. And a school bus driver goes all MMA on a middle school student. That is all coming on today's very special episode of The Men's Room.
And now, here's the question.
Hola, bitches. Good day to you and yours. All right, I've never been a fan of keeping exotic pets. It is what it is, but it just seems like when things go wrong, they go real wrong. Earlier this week in Oklahoma, a pet monkey was shot and killed after it almost ripped a woman's ear off of her head. But not to be outdone, we go to Ohio, where a pet zebra was shot and killed when it bit the owner's arm and nearly tore it off. Now, on the bright side, the family that owned the zebra, they own plenty more zebras, and they got plenty more arms for the zebras to rip off. But live and learn, as they say, and live and learn is a very true statement for most of us. And a lot of times what we learn is that we don't want to experience a thing a second time. Take our very own Mike Hawk. Got himself a scooter so he could get to the train station quicker after work. Yeah.
Rode it 4 times before taking a spill on a downtown sidewalk and messing up his shoulder. Has not ridden the scooter since. We had a guy call us yesterday. Stole beef jerky when he was a kid, like 3rd grade, somewhere around there. Well, his mom found out, beat his ass, and as he put it, his stealing days were done. Then there's my father. There's a man who loves to drive, unless he's in England. He used to have to go to London on occasion for work. He hated driving there because, as you know, everything is on the exact opposite side. The side of the road you drive on, where you're sitting in the car, where the stick shift is, the whole thing. And the man loves to drive, and every time he got back home, he's like, I hate driving in England. Didn't want to do it again. So it's real fun when he had to go back the next year. But today we're talking about those things that we'd like to not have to do or experience again? And that is exactly what today's question is. In your experience, would you hope to not experience again?
Be part of the big show. Call 206-803-ROCK. Like the Men's Room on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Men's Room Live. And send those emails to the Men's Room at KISW.com.
Walk the dogs, school drop-off, meetings from 10 to 3, take kids to soccer, then no time left for a jog.
When everyone else is relying on you, it's easy to put your needs last. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist online, so you can show up for yourself the way you do for others. Visit BetterHelp.com/positive to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp.com/positive.
Love the skin you're in with Hand & Stone Massage and Facial Spa's facial services. Enjoy the tranquility and deep relaxation while giving your skin a rejuvenating glow. All facials are tailored to your individual needs using the highest quality ingredients designed to give you healthy, radiant, and younger-looking skin. Visit any one of their 8 Seattle Hand & Stone Massage and Facial Spa locations or book online at handandstone.com. Restrictions apply. See spa for details.
You diet, you work out, and still there's that one stubborn spot. Hey, it's Jason. I just went after my stubborn fat by doing cool sculpting at Tureen Dermatology, Minnesota's top cool sculpting provider. Dr. Tureen is my dermatologist. We froze my fat, and those fat cells are gone for good. FDA approved. No pain, no downtime. Ranked top doctor 8 years in a row. Trust the experts at Tureen Dermatology. Call today, 651-633-6883, and say goodbye to stubborn fat.
If you're a contractor, it's now easier for you to do business with the Department of Labor and Industries. Go to lni.wa.gov/skip the line and make an appointment with us ahead of time. No waiting around, no wasted time away from your job site. You get in, get out, and get on your way. Easy. So contractors, just go to lni.wa.gov/skip the line to make an appointment and get back to doing what you do best.
99.9 KISW.
All the tells, away we go. Welcome to Season 18, Episode number 3860. What a large and in charge program we have for you today. Guaranteed future repeats. Exciting return of Who Sucks Last, Steve. I don't know how you do it, but you find stories in the news of people doing bad things.
That's true. It's true. It's tough work, man.
You bring us 3 of those stories every week. It's up to us to determine out of the 3 which one sucks the least. How brutal is this week's selection of stories on Who Sucks Less?
You know, I mean, they're bad because they're always bad, man. People do something no good. But in this case, all of them are financially motivated.
Oh, so
there's a reason behind them acting like fools.
Okay. Who Sucks Less coming up? What else do we have for you today? As we do every Monday through Friday, we head on over exclusively to the Odyssey app for the Men's Room Happy Hour. Join us for more Men's Room every weekday starting at 6. Keep in mind, the Men's Room Happy Hour channel only goes live at the current time at 6 o'clock. So join us for more Men's Room. There's a reason the channel is labeled explicit based on the language we use in the content. Pretty interesting list we have for you today. The funniest movie insults of all time.
Correct.
So we're going to play the cut from the movie, try to figure out if we can remember the movie and who dropped the line.
Correct.
Which is one of those insults. I believe, who was it? Was it Rowdy Roddy Piper? Was he the guy that had the bubblegum insult?
Yeah. What is that?
Two things I'm good at, kicking ass and chewing gum, and I'm all out of gum right now.
Something like that.
So basically lines like that are just iconic, that were dropped at the right times in movies that had an impact as far as whether they were just a witty line, an insult, whatever the deal is. We'll play those coming up with the Men's Room Happy Hour exclusively on the Odyssey app. Also, when you get onto that Odyssey app, be sure to sign in, whatever your username is. Every single hour you listen to the Men's Room on KISW or any show. Every hour you will be entered to win a pair of tickets this week to see KISS.
That's correct.
So if you listen for 4 hours,
stuff.
4 different entries to see KISS on their farewell tour at Climate Pledge Arena. Do we know who's opening up for KISS these days? I'm not sure. They always have a pretty interesting opening act. At least 1 or 2.
Sure.
But they follow them around for 5 or 6 gigs, and they'll switch opening acts.
I saw, let's see, Knight Ranger open for KISS.
Back then, they were an up-and-coming band.
Queensryche open for KISS. They just put out their first full-length album.
Alice in Chains.
Did you see them open?
They opened up for KISS. We've heard those stories before.
Sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, normally, typically with KISS, you get a good opener. I just don't know who it is. Either way, it's the last chance for you to see KISS. As far as on
you
tour.
Believe them this time. Ted just gave me a face that said you don't believe them.
Well, they've done this a couple times.
They've done it before.
I think physically, all three of us have seen him do it.
Right.
I've never seen him do it.
Oh, really?
No, the only time I've seen KISS play was acoustically, believe it or not.
That's the only time you saw them?
Yep.
Really?
That was it.
You're
oh, my
a KISS
God,
fan.
man.
You should go to this show.
Yeah, I've seen them like five or six times.
I plan on doing my Monday night at Climate Pledge Arena.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Coming in here on Tuesday, feeling like complete ass.
Oh, I'm here to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of bubble gum. Thank you, listener, for letting us know.
Yeah, exactly.
If I did a movie, if I'm the director of a movie, though, like whatever character drops that line would get their ass kicked. Now, you know Roddy was not going to get his ass kicked, but anyone who drops the really cool lines, they would always end up getting punched in the face.
Well, you bring up Carl Weathers and whatever movie.
Greatest line.
Was it Action Jackson, where he says, "How do you like your ribs?" And he's got a flamethrower. And
yeah, it was him and is it Craig T. Nelson? I guess is the guy's name. Coach, right?
Yeah.
So he's the bad guy in the movie. They've gone through all the conflict. You know it's the end of the movie. And yeah, Carl Weathers now has a flamethrower. He clearly has the upper hand over Craig T. Nelson. You know he's going to kill him. But before he kills him, he does ask that question: "How do you like your ribs?" I'm like, greatest line ever. Greatest line.
You have to think that, I don't know, maybe some Arnold would show up in this list. Not that they're necessarily insults, but they're just one-liners that kind of sting.
He was all but one-liners, man. Like, threw the knife through the guy's neck, pinned him to a tree. Stick around. I mean, like, that's basically what Arnold did. It was never a big, long monologue.
Well, Ryan Reynolds in Deadpool.
Oh, yeah.
He drops a lot of one-liners that are
yes,
slightly offensive, to say the least. But, yeah, we have the funniest movie insults of all time coming up with the Men's Room Happy Hour. And today on the question, basically, in your life, you've gone through experiences, whether you continue to do those experiences or not based on the outcome. That's kind of your personal blend of who you are as a person. Now, some people refuse to do certain things based on experiences that they've gone through in their lifetime.
Sure. Like, I refuse to bungee jump, but I've never experienced bungee jumping. I just don't even want the experience. And I have experienced skydiving. And because we landed safely, I would do it again.
Right. Well, look, some people go through severe turbulence in an aircraft and swear that they will never fly again.
Never fly again, right.
They didn't have anything to do with it. They just got caught up in some bad wind or whatever. But, getting off that plane, I swear to God, if I can, I will never get on an airplane again. Other people cut themselves in the kitchen with a mandolin. And they swear to God, like, no matter what, I'm never using this instrument again because it's way too dangerous. And obviously,
use the guard. Everyone I know that has gone down in flames using the mandolin, which is, absolutely the most death trap worthy thing I can think of in your kitchen, right? But they won't put on the guard because I've been cooking for 8 years. I know what I'm doing. And you've been successfully not using the guard, but like, hey man, when you paid that check and you cut yourself on a mandolin, it's bad.
Sure, yeah.
I'm with you on the turbulence. Like, I'm going back to Montana to the same town, but it's in the middle of Kalispell. I always say it wrong. And Missoula. Missoula's a fun town. That was miserable. I thought I was going to die. Everybody on the plane says, "Don't worry, it happens all the time." So I'm going to fly into the other town this time.
Oh, just so you can avoid them.
Really?
Correct.
Even though everyone said, "Look, man, it's just the way."
But you'll never fly into that airport ever again.
Not unless I had to. And I was doing something in Missoula. Yeah. I swear to God. It is the only time on a flight that I have reached for a puke bag.
Really?
It was that turbulent.
Well, some people have just horrible experiences traveling as far as missing layovers, lost luggage, and they swear to God they're never going to fly that airline again. And
here's my problem.
You see all the posts on social media, "I will never fly blank airline again," blah, 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 blah. And I understand the frustration when you're traveling. But,
I did swear off one on the airline.
I've sworn off
15 years. I didn't fly it. I'm like, look, man, everyone flies to the same goddamn places, right? And the prices are fairly competitive. Unfortunately, as things go, it ended up buying like 3 or 4 other airlines.
That's the tough part.
So technically, when I book a flight, I don't pick the name, but once you book the flight on whatever other airline you see, it's a subsidiary of, and it just burns me the hell up.
Right, there's a couple giant ones. You just, in the States, you just can't get away from it.
I know. I know. Yep. And actually, my wife's the one who told me about that, because we were booking a trip somewhere. It's probably like 7 years now. I said, look, I don't care what airline we're on as long as it's not blank. So I'm just not giving them my money. They're free to do what they want. So she buys tickets on whatever other airline. And then when we kind of get a receipt, she's like, bad news. They've been bought by the one you hate. I'm like, those sons of bitches.
Yep.
Sons of bitches.
Right. Ted, what are your feelings on sledding?
I would be hard-pressed to sled down a city street again in Seattle.
Okay.
Kind of learned that lesson the hard way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
On a crate.
Well, there's not a lot of sleds for sale downtown. I don't know if you've noticed.
There's not, but just little things like that. And you kind of go, all right, I'm not going to do that anymore. I've been to other places, like traveling with friends, where they're like, you're kind of a crazy one of our group. Like, go join that contest and try it. And I'm like, no.
No.
It's like, it involves me balancing on a log at a lake. No.
Yeah. At least it's a lake. It's things like certain hot sauces that people try, and I'm like, I'm past that. You know, when I was younger, like, dude, I'll at least give it a try. But 100% of the time, like, it hurts. You regret it, even if it tasted good. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing it again.
Look, man, there was a concert we were all at the Gorge, and it was Velvet Revolver with Alice in Chains opening up.
Correct.
And both those bands, growing up, I mean, if you look at the catalog of Velvet Revolver, and not bad, but dude, it's Guns N' Roses.
Right.
With Scott Weiland. You're seeing Guns N' Roses for the most part. I mean, if you listen to Velvet Revolver, there's a ton of Guns N' Roses tunes in there. So I was all excited to go see that show. We have an RV. For whatever reason, I decided to get a little crazy that night, and I did mushrooms. Now, that was the last time that I have done mushrooms. I have not done them since. It was not an enjoyable experience for me. I know that sometimes that goes better times than others, depending on what you're into. But basically, we're sitting on the grass.
I'm 100% happy so far.
Yeah, and Ted, you were going to go down and make a stage announcement and bring out Velvet Revolver, I believe.
Correct.
And I don't know if you asked me if I wanted to go with you or whatever the deal was, but I'm like, no, man. Or if I wanted to hit a joint, I'm like, no, I don't want to do that either. I was feeling that horrible. I didn't want to do anything. So I'm sitting there and I'm on the grass and I've got my sweatshirt pulled over my knees. My knees are tucked into my chest and I'm just rocking back and forth. And Ted says, hey, do you want to go down there and do the stage announcement? I said, no, man. And the next thing I know, Ted's on stage. I mean, literally, it's 5 seconds. It's like he evaporated and then showed up on the microphone. Hey! And I'm just like, wow.
And then when I came back, I said, hey, man, do you want to smoke a joint? You went, no. How are you up here? And I was like, I'm just going to leave you, brother. It's like, I don't know what's going on.
So,
is Miles okay? I said, well, he has his shirt pulled over his knees and he's rocking back and forth. Now, I have not asked him, but to me, that's universal messaging of saying, I don't feel okay.
Right.
My thing was he didn't want to smoke weed.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was like, something's up.
I'm not drinking beer. I'm not eating anything.
You're just rocking back and forth.
I'm just absolutely on another planet, and it was difficult to enjoy myself because all I was trying to do was just get my crap together in my head. So once I could get my crap together in my head, then I felt like, that I could just sit down and relax and enjoy Velvet Revolver and Alice in Chains. But at that point in time, I am just booming. I don't know what the hell. I don't know if I got the lucky mushroom or I ate too much of the dust in the bag or whatever the deal was. It was miserable. I had to use the bathroom at one point in time. And you would think that was, to me, the biggest adventure that I have ever been on in my life as far as the entire experience. By the time I got back to where I thought I was sitting down, which I was nowhere even close to.
Right.
I was just like, can't believe I made it to the bathroom and back. Thank God. Thank God. Like everything was like that to me. How am I going to find the RV in the parking lot? Like all these things. And then before I know it, I look up and they walked off the stage.
Right.
The show's over. And I'm like, all right, now I got to get my crap together and I got to figure out where we're at, which is not easy. By the way, I don't care what kind of a Boy Scout orienteering genius you are. The parking lot of the Gorge does not look the same in the daytime as it does in the nighttime as far as where you remember trails to go and all those things. So took me a little bit of time to get back to the RV. I finally do. I sit in the seat. Everyone's partying. Everyone's having a good time. Put my sweatshirt back over my knees. Start rocking back and forth again in the front seat. Then all of a sudden, I have this feeling that I've got to use the bathroom. And when I say I've got to use the bathroom, my stomach, it's starting to hit my stomach.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, God. This is about 3 o'clock in the morning, 3:30 in the morning at this point. I'm still awake. People are still partying. You guys are out still wandering around, roaming, doing all that crap, but I'm kind of just there, rocking back and forth, and I'm like, oh, my God. And this is what snapped me out of it. So I walked to the porta potties, and the truck that cleans the porta potties, it just left. It just pulled out. And when I say that porta potty was as clean and as fresh and smelled brand new, they sucked all the blue juice out that you put your combs in and put new stuff in without any crap. They wiped everything down and everything else. And I walked in there, and I sat down, and I was like, a clean porta potty. This is a sign. Things are getting better.
Yes, that's the sign.
Seriously.
That's your sign.
No, I'm dead serious.
From
and
God.
I was so excited about the fact that this unit was clean and that I didn't feel like I had to hurry. I could take my time. Yeah. I wasn't sitting in excrement, all those things. It really brought me great joy for the first time throughout the course of the entire night. So when I went back now to the RV, I feel a hell of a lot better. A, because I don't have my gut rumbling. B, because I had my first positive experience of the night. But at that point in time, as I got into the RV and grabbed a beer, took a sip of it, I was like, you know what? I'm never doing mushrooms again. I'm never doing them again. And I like tripping and I like all those things, just not, sometimes I guess my experience on mushrooms could be different. So I was like,
well, you're not alone. Someone here texted in and says, look, I did shrooms once and ate a marijuana truffle with it. I felt like I was going to puke for an hour, then started tripping for a couple hours. Couldn't stop laughing. Hearing was really heightened. S was so loud. LOL. Never did it again.
Yeah, I mean, and I know a lot of friends that enjoy them from time to time and have a very positive experience.
I always do. I crush them, man. I love it.
But it's back to me. It's like having a bottle of Jack Daniels. I know if I drink that entire bottle, I'm going to be in trouble. I know if I drink half of it, I might be able to get through the night okay.
Right.
But I don't know how to gauge mushrooms like that. Like there's no
wait and see.
Well, I know.
I mean, that's it, man. Ooh, roll the dice. Let's see what happens.
I'm just not good at it. I'm just not good at figuring out the right amount to take. I probably should start with less next time.
Roll a half.
In your experience, what do you hope to never experience again? 206-803-ROCK.
What you watch depends on what kind of mood you're in. Sometimes you're craving comedies like Friends or South Park, and sometimes you're more into dramas like HBO's Succession and House of the Dragon. There's also cooking shows like Chopped and Beat Bobby Flay, and even movies like The Lord of the Rings and Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Well, Max is the streaming destination that has the best of entertainment for whatever mood you're in anytime. And plans start at as little as $9.99 a month. Max, the one to watch. Subscription required. Visit Max.com.
T-Mobile's network can help keep you connected to all your favorite podcasts when you're out and about. Whether you're an early bird looking to dive into a daily news podcast or a night owl who wants to catch up on the latest reality TV drama, T-Mobile will keep you connected on their strong and reliable network. T-Mobile covers more highway miles with 5G than anyone. So if you need great coverage, especially when you're on the go, check out T-Mobile. Find out more at T-Mobile.com/CY. That's SEEWHY.
Odyssey celebrates Pride by amplifying the voices, music, and conversations of the LGBTQ+ community. Download the free Odyssey app and listen to podcasts celebrating and having conversations about the issues facing LGBTQ+ Americans, like It's Okay to Say Gay, Queer Intentions, and The Bald and the Beautiful with Trixie Mattel and Katia Zamo. To hear music by and for the LGBTQ+ community, plus podcasts and more, go to odyssey.com/pride or download the free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY.
Inside School of Washington is open to all Washington State residents grades K through 12. We have a personalized approach to education. Whether it's college credits with dual enrollment, career readiness, or credit recovery, we will accommodate your family's needs. The 23-24 school year enrollment is open now. Go to K12.com/ISWA. That's K12.com/ISWA to find out more. We've been around for over 12 years, doing online schooling successfully. No tuition fee and a high success rate. The support you and your student need. K12.com/ISWA.
9 KISW. The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
A question in your experience, what do you hope to never experience again? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Jordan. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hello. How are you doing today?
Hola. Doing well, sir.
So I got a fun story. When I was a kid in grade school, about 5th grade, me and my friends went around the day after the 4th of July scavenging fireworks. We ended up finding a bunch of bobcats in an old mortar tube. So I was like, hey, let's blow up the mortar tube. So I stuck my hand into this tube with a handful of bobcats and lit the match, or lit the lighter, sorry. Next thing you know, I had a concentrated explosion up my arm for second-degree burn with blisters the size of baseballs.
How far?
Terrified of fireworks.
How far up your arm did it go?
It went from the tips of my fingers all the way past the elbows, about halfway up the forearm.
Okay. And how painful was that?
It was pretty painful. After it happened, I ran from the site to my bathroom and started running it under cold water. Not even like 5 minutes later, I had a knock on my door, and it was the fire department. They're like, hey, we heard that there was an explosion in the area. Do you know anything that's going on? And I just slammed the door in their face. My mom comes down the stairs, and she's like, who's at the door? I'm like, hey, Mom, don't be mad.
Which means you're going to be mad.
Yep, I was like, I blew up my arm and the fire department's at the door. And she starts freaking out and she says, open the door.
So were they able to render some first aid to you, or did you just go straight to the hospital?
We went straight to the hospital, and they ended up giving me like burn, like, it was like a clear liquid for burns, and I was in a full arm cast for about 2 months.
Okay. I'd say, what was worse, the initial explosion as far as pain goes, or the recovery?
I would have to say the initial explosion, because I'm a little bit weird and I at least liked draining the pus.
All right. I had...
Put that on a dating profile, but be sure to include that detail. You know, I'm a romantic. I like walks on the beach. I have a great paying job. Side note, love to drain pus.
Same with me, man. I was probably 10, 12 years old, was in a Roman candle war with some of my friends in the neighborhood.
All right.
So we had like 10 Roman candles. We would just go out and fire them each other. If you know anything about those, they have about 7 to 8 projectiles that come out of a tube. So you hold the tube and it goes boom. And most of the balls are different colors, that kind of thing. I'm holding it, and apparently it jammed on the inside, but it was still lit. So one of the balls did not fly out, but it lit the next one, So they're all just kind of in there, and it blew out sideways.
Yeah.
And I mean, my hand was just completely numb. I didn't have any burns on my skin. It blew up in my hand, and I just pulled my hand back. But I remember not being able to feel my hand for about a day.
Yeah, for sure.
So I've never messed with fireworks since that point in time. The other one was, as far as pain is concerned, which was one of the oddest pains I've ever had in my life. Right when paintball started to take off, there was a huge paintball zone area that they had constructed in the woods outside of Morgantown, where I grew up. And they had a couple of forts, the idea being kind of a capture the flag type of deal. They had trenches, there were barricades, there were all kinds of things in nature like rocks and stuff that you could kind of get around. But either way, you had a map of the area, and then you go out there and 2 teams would go at it.
Sure.
So I can't remember what the deal was. I think it was a work thing. So we just all went out there as a group. Well, I've probably not been out there for more than 10 minutes, where I decided to go from one group of rhododendrons and run straight ahead and go up to a tree. Now, what I did not realize was that even at this time, we rented all the equipment, but people were starting to get into the sport, so they were buying their own guns. Mm-hmm. They had their own stuff going in there. So a lot of the guys we were playing against, because they were the ones who wanted to set this thing up, they had scopes and stuff.
Sure.
Like, they had really good, not that there was anything wrong with the rentals, they were fine, but they had better stuff. So as I'm running up to the tree, I'm running as fast as I can, and I get shot in the neck, right on the Adam's apple. And if you've never been hit right in the Adam's apple, I've been hit with a tennis ball before, a couple of other things. The pain from, I was like, now I could breathe.
Is it like the testicles of the neck?
Yes, I could breathe, but I could not talk.
Right.
So I hit the deck. By the way, I'm out of the match at this point, because once you get hit by a paintball, you're done. You gotta leave. But don't think for 1 minute that everyone else does not know that you have been hit. So as you're trying to walk out of said zone, war zone, you are being still shot at.
Of course.
By other people who don't know that you have been hit and you are out. So I got blistered about, 6 more times as I'm gently walking with my hand up like, guys, I'm out. Ah! So I just kept getting lit up. And I
was like, right, if you have your arm up and the gun up, they should have stopped.
Well, I was thinking the same thing. Like,
they
guys, I'm
should
out,
have,
my hands
but
up in
you
the
know
air.
damn well
but
they're
at the
not.
same time, I'm holding on to my neck, because I'm trying to figure out, like, oh my God. So the next day, my neck was seriously green and purple.
Right.
From getting hit by a paintball. I'm like, that's it. I'm not doing paintball anymore. I am out. I know the pain that this can cause if it hits certain area. Like, I could not think of a worse place to be hit where I was exposed.
Yeah.
I mean, for the most part, I did have goggles on and other things, but to be hit in the Adam's
paintball hurts.
Oh, it does hurt.
It's still a project. It's just not a lethal bullet, but it's still a projectile rocketing toward you. It's going to hurt.
Yeah, I'm with you on fireworks. Me and DB, it's July 4th. We got like 24 Maryland blue crabs. We're living in Baltimore. But same thing. We're messing with fireworks. And I lit one that was part of a bigger strand. But I lit it in my hand. And like, I couldn't get rid of it quick enough. So when it popped, same thing. Like the most intense ringing for like 5 minutes.
Right.
And then I just had these burns on the inside of my hand that didn't go away. I'd say, I don't know. I don't want to say a month. Probably like 2 weeks.
Right. Even when people are doing fireworks on the 4th of July, I try to tell my kids, because they want to get involved in it when they were little and everything else. And I was like, look, man, I am telling you right now, I do not condone this behavior at all. You're 16 years old, 15 years old. there was a huge fireworks celebration at Gas Works, and people in the neighborhood and Fremont, Wallingford would take individual sparklers and stuff and just blow stuff up. So I met up with a group of my friends. Of course, they have fireworks on them. Their kids are doing the firework thing, so they want to get involved. I'm like, look, man, I'm just telling you right now. If we end up going to the hospital tonight, if we miss the fireworks, we can't get out of here. I'm telling you right now, an ambulance cannot get into where we are. They close down
based on the crowd.
They close down the streets. You know, it is packed. You have a hard enough time getting out of there. I'm like, look, we're not going to make it to a hospital. We can make it home. We're not going to make it to a hospital. I told them what happened to me. They didn't care.
Of course not.
You're going to find out when you find out.
That's how life works, man.
Yep.
Somebody here says, Miles, I had a similar incident. I was paintballing with some friends, and a kid on my own team scared me. I reacted quickly. Shot him in the Adam's apple from 2 feet away.
Ooh. I can't explain to you the pain. I can't. I wish you can't swallow. You're like, you feel like you're having a hard time breathing. I don't know why men have those. I'm not exactly sure.
Because it's still fun.
Well, what I'm saying is an Adam's apple.
Yeah. Oh, the Adam's apple. I mean, I thought you meant paintball. It's fun.
No. I'm talking about, why do we have this damn thing? Women don't. Why do we need this? Like, what purpose does it serve a guy? Where
I believe it's just on guys. It's generally, I believe it's cartilage around the voice box. So it's not like your appendix where you go like, why are you here? We don't understand your purpose. Like, it's just there because you're a dude in this cartilage build, because we have deeper voices typically. So I understand. Yeah. So it's not like much you can do. I mean, what was it? Bruce Jenner. What is his name now? Caitlyn Jenner. One of the first things he did, like, he got the haircut because he had not transformed yet, right? It's just, they'd show him, like, leaving the hospital, and you're kind of like, hey, what did he do? And it's like, oh, he went in to get his Adam's apple shaved.
Oh.
And you're like, wow. So that's a thing that exists.
I mean, good thing you had it. It is there to protect your, like, voice.
Oh, I know.
Think how bad it would have been if you didn't have it, right?
Trust me, I know. But at the time, I'm like, why do we have these things? Like, what is the point of this, and why does it hurt so bad? So I guess it did its job, but
once you got shot in the Adam's apple, I think that's the moment you realize the purpose of the Adam's apple. Like, we know it hurts, but it's like a bulletproof vest, right? It doesn't mean it doesn't hurt.
Well, at the beginning, here was another aspect of this that kind of sucked. I had been doing part-times at the radio station that I was working.
Hey, it's me, Miles Montgomery.
But basically, I was just basically running Pittsburgh Pirate baseball and Pittsburgh Steeler football. So I was running.
Don't play paintball.
Yeah.
Take it from your Wolfman Miles.
Oh no,
they lost again.
Like the week before this.
Let's go Pirates! Yeah.
The week before this,
you are listening to W.
That's exactly what happened.
We are family.
So the week before
this, the family stone coming your way.
When you ran the local end of the broadcast.
Did you hear that jazz guy they hired?
Jesus. They've got to give you
he's 20 and in college.
Right. Well, they have to. So what they did was when they say, like, time for stations to take 15-second ID for local affiliates, and then you hit that over
15.
top.
What were you guys doing down there? It's only 10.
Well, it's 15 on the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Steelers. So, but at the time they had a pre-recorded cart that you would play.
Yeah.
You're listening to Pittsburgh Pirate Baseball on 1440 WAJR. You're home for Pirates, Steelers, Mountaineers, whatever. Blah, 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 blah. Well, at this point in time, my boss comes down the hallway. He's like, hey, man, we're killing. And part of the reason was that there were so many IDs that were being missed by the board ops that were running it, which are a legal requirement, by the way. So the boss says, look, I want you to do all these live now. So
on this day.
For everybody.
All right.
So, but I could barely talk, and this is my first time ever cracking the mic.
Oh, are you serious?
On the radio station doing these live IDs, and he wanted like an AccuWeather forecast, like, whatever. A cloudy skies tonight, low down to 40, and tomorrow sunshine and 65. You're listening to Pittsburgh Pirate Baseball, and blah 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 blah. Right? I was like, and basically you nailed it. You know what I mean? Like,
lows tonight, down to the 30s, cloudy tomorrow, high 65. You listen to Pittsburgh Pirate Baseball.
Who's the old man they hired?
1440.
It's just like, I'm like,
and that's your first time on the radio.
That was my first time cracking the mic, and I could barely talk. It's just like and this is like almost like a week later.
This is what you've been waiting to do.
Oh,
man.
I know. And then he was thinking about moving.
I finally got my opportunity.
And at that point in time, too, he's like, hey, man, I want to get you good enough where you can go on and actually do a show on the FM station and all these things. I'm like,
that sounds great. Can't wait to do that. Can't wait to do that, boss. I'm Catman Scruthers.
I mean, look, I feel you. Mike's the only one in here that I think missed all that just because of his age. But
carts and all that kind of crap.
Oh, yeah, like I ran a lot of sports on that AM station. And you're right. Like when you're the main, right, so I was running the Navy Network in Baltimore. So I was the main guy. Other people had to hit it.
Sure.
So it wasn't a big deal.
Oh, yeah, you were sending that out. You were letting them know that they needed to do that at their local affiliate.
Correct.
Yeah, because you're the motherboard, basically.
Right, but one day, something happened. I don't know. We go to hit the top and same thing. I just hear the guy at the game. He's like, Ted, just say it. I'm like, Navy Football Network. Like, I don't think I identified the station.
Those are your first words?
No, because I had interned with you.
Right.
So I had done other stuff. But, look, it was probably a Saturday noon game. I probably rolled in there at 11:45, not feeling tip-top shape. So it's just like, I got to say something.
My first words on the radio ever. And I was not supposed to be on mic, but same thing. When you run a sports station, there's just a lot of stuff going on, especially if it's not like NFL or baseball. So we're running Navy or you run Baltimore Blast, all these little things, right? But something went wrong, and we had a pre-recorded thing that said we're suffering technical difficulties. And we were suffering technical difficulties. The difficulty was me. I just messed something up, right? But I can't find the cart that says we're having technical difficulties. So I just had to crack open the mic, and I'm trying to sound like I'm pre-recorded, so I'm like, we are currently experiencing technical difficulties at AM 1300 WJFK.
Well, obviously you're not, because you're still transmitting your voice.
Well, I forgot to turn off the mic for a second. So I think you heard me. So you hear that, and like, right, then it click off. So then my boss comes in. He's like, did you just open the effing mic? I said, man, I can't find the code. Obviously, we're having technical difficulties. People know when you're having technical difficulties, but whether it's TV or radio, you still point out the obvious by telling them, hey, we're having technical difficulties. And it's not that you don't know that. We're just letting you know we're aware. That's basically what that is. So I said, man, I can't find a thing that says technical difficulties. So I just opened the mic, and I tried to sound like the pre-recorded thing. It's like, you sounded like ass. It's like, goddamn, find the goddamn cart. I'm like, my bad.
In your experience, what do you hope to never experience again? 206-803-ROCK.
Because you're trying to sound like you're recording, whereas people in their cars probably would have noticed. If I had just talked like a normal human. But then Miles had an excuse at least.
Here's the thing about that, though. Here's the thing about
pirates.
We take,
you like pirates? I like pirates.
We'll take to the air, man, and we'll run in here with like 5 seconds to go sometimes, depending on the break or whatever's going on. And we're used to cracking the mic. It's all we've done.
It's no problem.
But back then, you're sweating.
You're terrified.
Your heart is palpitating. You cannot believe that someone else is going to have to listen to your voice. And how bad am I going to F this up?
Like, and then you find out how bad you're going to F it up. Because you F it up quick.
You're sweating. You're pitting. Right. You're just waiting for the top of the hour, and you're looking at it like, oh, my God. The next thing you know,
you're listening to Pittsburgh Pirates. Now back to Lanny for Terry. I hope you enjoy what you're hearing.
In your experience, what do you hope to...
I'm a 20-year-old white boy. I don't know if you knew that. A lot of people probably think that I got hired from New Orleans. I got shot in the neck with a paintball. You should just... I don't normally sound like this, but I took a paintball to the Adam's apple.
Sage next buckwheat zydeco.
Hey, just knowing that job, like, there's no chance. Like, I don't know how old you were, but I'm willing to say...
18 years old.
I was going to say 23 and under.
Oh, yeah. That sucked.
Ouch.
Yeah. In your experience, what do you hope to never experience again? 206-803-ROCK.
I'm not contagious. It's an injury.
Hello, Darren. Welcome to the men's room.
Hi, guys. How are you doing?
Hola. Doing well, ma'am.
Well, first off, I want to say that I've been listening to you since your inception. You guys freaking rock.
Oh, man. Thank you, man.
I appreciate that.
And can I give a shout out real quick to a couple of mutual friends?
Yeah, friends?
Are they our mutual friends or your
one
friends?
Or two. One is Joe Red. He's awesome.
All right, there you go. There's one.
We'll give you that one.
Yeah, I want to thank him for playing my benefit show last year. Anyways, waking up and finding out that you have cancer is the worst thing that's ever happened to me.
Is that why you had the benefit show?
Yeah.
Now, how do you wake up and know you have cancer? Did you self-diagnose?
I mean, like you just wake up one morning.
Oh, I feel the cancer. I feel
I'm
it.
Pisces.
Oh.
I'm a Pisces.
Okay, I was
and
say.
I ended up, I have a tumor about the size of a quarter on my left lung that they've been fighting for about a year and a half.
Okay.
I've had 36 radiation treatments and 32 chemotherapy treatments.
Are they making any progress? I imagine you've lost your hair and all that stuff. So are they making progress on the...
Yeah, the cancer's pretty much dead, but the problem is the leftover is the tumor is on the nerves that go to my left arm.
Oh, God.
So my left arm is just blown.
You can't even move you can't move it or anything?
I can use it, but barely.
All right. And are they too afraid because of where it's located? Are they too afraid to take it out for fear of damaging that nerve?
Yeah, they said that if they were to operate, there's a 99.9% that they would paralyze my left arm.
Jesus God! Yeah, with odds like that, like nobody feels. Yeah, give me the 1%. So when you do, why did you
I
go?
do construction for a living.
Were you getting a routine physical and they discovered this, or did you suspect there was something wrong and volunteered yourself?
I just suspected something wrong, and it progressively over a few weeks just got so bad that I wanted to end it.
So what was the tell?
Been in so much pain in my life.
What was the tell? Was the tell on your arm, or did you feel it in your lungs?
I could feel it I had a really bad backache between my shoulder blades.
How do you hammer a nail in if you can't hold the nail?
I know exactly.
I guess you use a nail gun.
I'm actually a drywall finisher, so it's hard to hold a pan and knife. So
that's comforting. So when you do get this news, I mean, what is the first thing that goes through your head? Does your blood just kind of run cold? Do you go numb? Do you check out, or what?
Numb.
Okay.
I was just numb. I just, I laid in bed in shock when I got the phone call for just hours. I wasn't answering the phone to any friends or family. And, I thought, well, this is it.
Oh, so you woke up to the phone call. Jeez, man.
I need some drywall work done, and man, I'll give you a call as long as you don't drop dead in my house.
No, heck no, I wouldn't do that. No,
I would never do that to you, Miles.
You come home like you finally showed up, you're on time, the job looks great, all of a sudden I got a dead guy in my house.
I'll tell you what, and people can vouch for me that, man, I'm the drywall master of the universe. There's nothing I can't make look.
I'll tell you what, and that's
drywall master of the universe.
I think that's one of the hardest things to do.
Actually, wasn't that He-Man's original title? He was the drywall master of the universe.
I plagiarized it. I'm not going to lie.
All right. I couldn't tell.
Besides that, I'm kind of an odd duck. I was also a restaurant manager for 15 years. I managed the Hurricane, and then I managed Charlie's.
I got punched outside of the Hurricane one night.
Yeah, hey, funny thing, I got punched more than once outside of the
It was the guy that asked for a cigarette first, and boom!
Oh, yeah, I don't doubt it. I miss that place, though.
Yeah, I do, too.
So do I. I never got punched there. I definitely had a lot of cocktails.
In your experience, what do you hope to never experience again? 206-803-ROCK.
If you're a contractor, it's now easier for you to do business with the Department of Labor and Industries. Go to lni.wa.gov/skip the line and make an appointment with us ahead of time. No waiting around, no wasted time away from your job site. You get in, get out, and get on your way. Easy. So contractors, just go to lni.wa.gov/skip the line to make an appointment and get back to doing what you do best.
Are you driving your car or doing laundry right now? Podcasts go best when they're bundled with another activity, like Progressive home and auto policies. They're best when bundled too. Having these two policies together makes insurance easier and could help you save. Customers who save by switching their home and car insurance to Progressive save nearly $800 on average. Quote a home and car bundle today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $793 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2021 and May 2022. Potential savings will vary.
Have you been in an accident that wasn't your fault? Feeling overwhelmed and unsure what to do next? Look no further. The personal injury attorneys at Phillips Law Firm are here to help. Phillips Law Firm understands that accidents can turn your life upside down. That's why they're dedicated to fighting for the compensation you deserve and to making the process as stress-free as possible. Don't wait any longer. Call now, 1-800-JUSTICE, or visit justiceforyou.com.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, The Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
99.9 KISW. We return to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Off to Circleville, Ohio. Man in the hospital after a zebra bit his arm on Sunday night.
It happens to everyone.
Sheriff's deputies arrived at the home in Ohio after a report of an animal attack. A deputy arrived, and at that point in time, a large male zebra charged at the cruiser, acting aggressively. One deputy scared it away using the cruiser's horn and sirens.
Meep, meep.
Then deputies found a man lying on the ground with a hemorrhage on his right arm below the elbow. The man, identified as Ronald Clifton, was helped to his feet by deputies and then escorted to an ambulance. Male zebra was then seen approaching the location where the victim's family and EMS personnel were staged. So deputies tried to scare it away, but as it kept approaching, one deputy shot and killed the zebra. Clifton transported to a hospital in Columbus. He's listed in stable condition. Family members told first responders that he will not lose his arm, although it was pretty close. A spokesperson from the Ohio Department of Agriculture said that zebras are not on the list of dangerous wild animals that are banned for ownership in the state of Ohio.
You mean the one that almost tore the owner's arm off?
And by the way, there are several other zebras on his property. The spokesman said it's not likely those other zebras will be confiscated or euthanized.
I don't think that Ohio thinks that any animal is dangerous.
No.
Right? Because you can have lions.
What they come up with last week, what was that, like a leopard, or what the hell was that, cat?
Was it a serval, I think? Is that the one I'm thinking of?
It was on cocaine.
Yes. Was it a serval that was on cocaine?
On cocaine, yes. Ohio is absolutely the Florida of the North.
I mean, it's the thing they say, it's not on the dangerous pet list. It's like, well, I mean, look, I know it's a zebra. I get it. Things happen. But, like, you don't have lions and tigers on that list either. So, like, what do you consider dangerous? Exactly.
I think a wild cat on cocaine is right up there. In your experience, what do you hope to never experience again? 206-803-ROCK. If catnip wasn't enough to jack him up.
Really? Did your cats get hyper catnip?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, mine went to Zen Town, man.
Oh, yeah.
First time I gave my cat.
Oh, my cat went nuts.
Who wasn't necessarily a hyper cat, but a cat's a cat, right? But I remember giving him catnip, see what would happen. And this cat basically sat on its hind legs with its two front legs up in the air, just staring out the window. But even when birds flew by, he didn't like move his head or anything. I was like, dude is on a different planet right now. But
he's
anytime I broke out catnip, the cat was all over me. I'm like, you're a drug addict now. Cool. I dig it. We have that in common. Hello, Julie. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bichola.
Hola.
I love listening to you guys. You're awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Appreciate it, Julie.
You guys make me laugh so much. One thing that I don't really want to experience again is I accidentally, years ago, I took Thorazine.
Thorazine?
And it was so bad.
What is it?
I had a bad headache. I was hanging out with some friends, and I got given some what I thought was Tylenol. And a little while later, everything just went into slow motion, and I had to ride that out for about 2 days.
3 days?
2 days of riding out like just slow motion. Barely could function.
Now, did the person who gave you the pseudo Tylenol, did they think it was Tylenol, or did they know what they were giving you?
I'm sure they knew what they were giving me, but I didn't realize it at the time. And oh man, it was horrible.
My next rule would be never hang out with that person again.
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh yeah, I realized that afterwards. But and the funny thing is, the next day I had to go to my community college class, and one of my classes was weight training, and I had to go on a treadmill, and it was so hard for me to even move my legs and arms. I was struggling so bad.
I bet you were.
It was not fun.
Were you kind of talking slow too? Or,
yeah, it was bad. 2 days of that, and then apparently I snapped out of it. But
Julie, since you took the drug and you went through the experience of 2 days, which seems like a long time for any drug in capsule form, what is the practical application for that drug? In other words, do they give that to patients at hospitals who are in chronic pain, or what is the?
It's a heavily. They made a song about it actually years ago, but it's a tranquilizer for people that are going through like a mental breakdown or collapse, or they get people to slow them down in that kind of a facility, I guess, setting is what I've
heard of the drug. I just didn't know what it did.
And all you have is a damn headache. Jesus, man.
You had a headache, and I was young, and I believed what I was taking with Tylenol. And
well, why wouldn't you? I'm 54 now. If you said, "Hey, here's a Tylenol," I would absolutely believe. If I said I have a headache and somebody offers me and says it's Tylenol, I would absolutely believe it's Tylenol
or some kind of pain relief.
Well,
yeah.
I would say too. There's definitely a period there where so many people taking pain pills that they would get used to them, right? Because your tolerance was very high. So like. My sister was married to a guy. He was taking a lot more pain pills than we realized.
Of course.
He gave my mom one time, I forget what he gave her. The same thing. And she was all for rocker. And I was like, is she going to be okay? What's wrong? I take these all the time. Like,
no, you do?
Look, did you find out what it was?
I just can't remember what it is right now.
That's such a terrible, I do it all the time. Like, look, man, I drink a lot of Jack Daniels. I'm not going to give it to my kid.
Sure.
Come on, what's wrong with you? I drink this all the time.
It's the same as being high. You'll never be as high as you were the first time you got high.
That is correct.
So if you're used to something like anything else, your body builds up a tolerance where you don't sit there with the giggles and, just...
Yeah, you're just stoned and no one can tell.
Right. Can't get off the couch. Now I'm vacuuming and, cooking dinner at the same time, multitasking, and stoned. In your experience, what do you hope to never experience again? 206-803-ROCK.
Somebody here on the text line says, I got into a severe motorcycle accident when I was 16. I broke my back, both hips, shattered my pelvis, and collapsed a lung. But having the catheter and going through the removal process is at the top of my don't do it again list. Right there with you, man.
I've never had to go through a catheter.
It's not the worst pain, but it's the inside of your penis. So as you might guess, it's a fairly sensitive area that doesn't get a whole lot of, you don't get calluses, you know what I mean? So one, you look at the catheter, it's a lot wider than what you perceived your urethra to be. So it's very disturbing. You don't really, it's tapered on the end. I did not know it was tapered on the end because the end was inside of me, but I saw this thing. She got buzzing the nurse. She comes in. I'm like, because you're freaking out. You're waking up out of surgery. You think you have to pee, so you throw back the covers, go to the bathroom. One, you don't have the energy to get out of bed. You realize that. But you look down at your junk, and there's this tube coming out of it. And it's, sir, and look, we all know what a catheter is. It's not that. But if you're not expecting to see that, it's a very disturbing moment. So I kept buzzing her. I'm like, you got to get this thing out of me. She's like, look, man. She broke it down. You got about 24 hours before there's a chance you'll have enough strength to go to the bathroom on your own. We will gauge it. But in the meantime, it needs to be here. Otherwise, you're just going to pee the bed. Fine. I'm not going to win that battle. But the day came when she came to remove it, and she didn't like me very much, and I didn't like her very much, and it was understood. It was fine. She took so much pleasure out of pulling that thing out. Because with the last little yank, when it basically does the full exit, it's a weird, it makes that sound, and there's this weird sting, man, and it kind of just hits your whole body. It's like stubbing your toe. You're not going to die, but the pain in that moment really, really sucks. And then, I don't know if this happened to the guy that just texted in, but so much air has gotten into your junk that I had a farting penis for like 24 hours. Oh. Dude, and again, it's not like it does it on its own, but if you go to touch it, and I buzz that nurse back in, and I am freaking out because I'm like, my penis is farting, and I'm not letting her get a word in edgewise. I'm like, listen, man, my penis never farted before I came to this goddamn hospital. I don't know what the hell you did to me. My penis, you farted. I'm showing her, it's like, look. She's like, sir. It's an air buildup, man. She's like, again, it's about another 24 hours. It will stop farting. It hasn't stopped farting. Like, I'll never have sex again if my penis farts. Like 24 years old.
Join the circus.
Well, once I realized that it would go away, then I started having fun with it. You just, because you're laying in bed, you're in the hospital, you're not doing anything. So every once in a while, just put your hand between your legs and it's stupid, but there's nothing else.
The amazing farting penis man.
Dude, honest to God, your penis farts.
In your experience, what do you hope to never experience again? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Candace. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
So when I was about 10 years old, my dad was dating this woman we moved in with, and she was a really bad alcoholic. And so I hadn't lived there long. I didn't have a lot of friends. I finally made some friends and had them over for a sleepover. And this is like 93, 94. So we're listening to TLC, doing our thing. And my dad's girlfriend comes home about 9:30 from the bar, completely piss-faced drunk, takes all of her clothes off, and proceeds to pass out on my friends and I on the couch, completely naked.
But she literally is on top of you guys.
Literally passed out. We were sitting on the couch, like listening to our music. We were all cool. And she literally came in, stripped off all of her clothes, and literally fell over, passed out on my friends and I, completely naked.
Where was your dad?
You know what? I don't know. I think he was in his room or doing something, and I just screamed, and I was like, I don't know what to do. My friends called their parents. Never had a sleepover at my house again.
Oh, yeah, I bet you don't.
Yeah, it was a very traumatic.
Well, my money says your dad wasn't going out with her for very long, right?
No, not. I actually broke them up, like a good daughter. And
what did you do?
Yeah, it was. He was in school for something, and I found out that she was sleeping with this guy from the bar across the street. So he would come over when my dad was at his school. So one day he called and said that he didn't have school that night for some reason. He'd be home early. So I told her that he was going to be at school late. And she had the guy over. I literally packed his bag, my bag, and waited for him to come home, and that was that.
So he found them in the act, I guess?
Yeah.
And she would bring this guy over while you're home?
Yeah. Me, her kids, she didn't care. She was, she didn't think we were going to say anything. And she was kind of abusive, so I think she thought we were just keep our mouths shut.
I also believe that she probably was too inebriated to make a rational decision if she came in and took off her clothes and passed out on you. So it doesn't sound like she was the best decision maker in the world.
No, not at all. And so it was like, yeah, I didn't want to go back to school. It was really bad.
So, when you do go back to school, are your friends that were there, are they mad at you or are they more worried about you?
I think they were just, embarrassed and didn't know what to say.
Okay.
It was awkward.
I mean, I had a few friends whose moms were hot, and I would have loved for them to come home drunk, get naked, and pass out on top of me. That would have been...
That would have been a big deal.
And I also had friends where I prayed to God that wouldn't happen.
That. I've got a friend whose mom, if she left her husband right now, I would leave mine. But,
Damn. All right.
Good times.
But, she was really, I think she was 35, but looked 65, super rode hard, put away wet type situation.
Yeah. Come downtown. There's
rode hard and put away wet. Damn. Again, something to put on your dating profile.
Or a T-shirt.
You not heard that one?
No.
I have not heard that one.
It's about horseback riding.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
So what's the connotation?
You ride the horse hard, it puts in a hard day's work, and then generally, if I'm gonna screw this one up, but sometimes it would rain while you were working out there, or maybe you were washing the horse off. But it's kind of kosher to dry the animal off.
Maybe it's so sweaty. Put it away wet.
I don't know if horses sweat.
But what it means now is basically this person looks rough.
Put it away wet now means I was masturbating with someone came home.
But based on what they've done to themselves.
You've seen a horse sweat. They get that lather on them. You've seen it on race horses and stuff. But also, I watch a lot of Yellowstone. So I would never ride my horse hard all the way back to the barn. It'll be too fired up.
That's right.
It's funny you bring up Yellowstone, Ted. We have a text. I was pulled under by an undercurrent in the Yellowstone River. Truly thought I was at death's door, but could still see the surface. Never again. Scary.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Yeah. In your experience, what do you hope to never experience again? 206-803-ROCK.
That's pretty bad that you can see the surface, but you can't get up there.
Right, that's the worst. It's like the guy yesterday that called. It's one thing to have your truck stolen, but he's on top of the mountain, and you see someone stealing your truck.
Yeah.
It just makes it a little bit worse. Hello, Andy. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola. Happy birthday.
Hola. So what do you never want to do again?
The one thing I never want to do again is my girls are old enough, but I got nieces and nephews. I never want them to run up to me to say hi and knee me right in the nads.
Oh, yeah. What was the year's gap between the last time you took a direct shot?
Oh, it's been about 5 years since one of my little nieces ran up and jumped and kneed me right in the guts.
And did you completely drop?
Oh, yeah. And she's like, "What's wrong, Uncle?" And I'm like, "It's okay. Just let me sit here for a while. I'll be all right."
And because you got to be gentle with the kids. Just don't worry about it, but do not touch me and stop talking for 2 minutes.
When I grew up, it was a game. It was a game family members play. You just come up and back tap.
Oh, the sack tap thing?
Oh, yeah, boom. It didn't matter if you're a grown man. Hey, how you doing, Tony? Pop.
Now, you were doing that with this guy, Billy. We went to New Orleans years ago.
I was not doing that with Billy. Billy was doing that to everybody else.
He started doing it. It started becoming a game. Everyone tried to get him back. He never got me, but I told him directly, if you sack tap me, you get punched in the face. I'm like, that is how I played this game. He said, man, I'm not down with it. Because, look, here's the problem. Because I know it's not going to stop. Mm-hmm. It'd be one thing if you do it 1 for 1, you go, okay, ha. This went on for 3 days.
Guy was the president of a major record company.
And he was out there and someone walking through the French court, and out of nowhere, man, he would just pop. Just great. And I'm like, man, if you put your hands on me, I'm going to beat your ass.
Oh, he got me 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, we did it in grade school, maybe high school. I'd be very hard. If somebody did it now, I'd be like, I don't want to play that game.
We're grown-ass adults. No. We could not believe. It's not like he said, I'm going to do this. It just happened. We're all grown-ass men.
Was he drunk?
No.
I mean, we were all kind of inebriated.
No,
we were worse than they were.
Right. But Miles and I were definitely in worse shape than the rest of them. But it didn't matter if he's drunk. It didn't matter if he was sober.
Could be on breakfast.
He just pow. Yeah.
Because that's the idea. Like when someone least expects it. So like when you're walking into a breakfast place, pop, at 7:30. Like,
yes, I don't expect that when I'm walking into a breakfast place.
In your experience, what do you hope to never experience again? 206-803-ROCK.
If I did, I wouldn't go out to breakfast.
Where do you expect it?
The beignets. Hello, Todd. Welcome to the men's room.
Hello.
Hola.
Thanks, you guys. The show's awesome.
Oh, thanks.
Appreciate it, man.
Let's see. Way back in '93, it was about just before 2 a.m. I was driving down the road. Some dude pulled out in front of me, and I nailed him. But when I got out and was looking at my totaled '83 Z28, he came up behind me and hit me over the back of the head. Then he kept kicking me in the head until he thought I was dead.
Jesus Christ! Who the hell did you hit?
I don't know. They never caught him. So, because I was out and I ended up in a coma.
Man. How long?
I actually only 3 days. They had given they had called, they found my ID and stuff in the car and they got a hold of my parents and basically told them and my sister to come say bye.
Jeez.
Why did they put you in a coma? Was it swelling on the brain from him hitting you, kicking you?
Well, they didn't put me in one. I went into one.
Oh, okay. Golly, that's different.
And it was. I had 2 blood clots in my brain. My skull was fractured behind my ear. My cheek was fractured.
And they never caught this guy. There was no camera footage anywhere.
No, well, it was '93.
Okay. Right. Yeah, makes sense.
And the description wasn't enough. There was no license plate. There was one witness that happened to be there sleeping on his mom's floor, and he heard the accident. And when he went to come outside, the dude was throttling me, so he went back in and just called 911.
Wow, man.
Damn, that's crazy.
That is, that sucks all the way around.
Jesus. In your experience, what do you hope to never experience again? 206-803-ROCK.
Walk the dogs, school drop-off, meetings from 10 to 3, take kids to soccer, then no time left for a jog.
When everyone else is relying on you, it's easy to put your needs last. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist online, so you can show up for yourself the way you do for others. Visit BetterHelp.com/positive to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp.com/positive.
Love the skin you're in with Hand & Stone Massage and Facial Spa's facial services. Enjoy the tranquility and deep relaxation while giving your skin a rejuvenating glow. All facials are tailored to your individual needs using the highest quality ingredients designed to give you healthy, radiant, and younger-looking skin. Visit any one of their 8 Seattle Hand & Stone Massage and Facial Spa locations or book online at handandstone.com. Restrictions apply. See spa for details.
You diet, you work out, and still there's that one stubborn spot. Hey, it's Jason. I just went after my stubborn fat by doing cool sculpting at Tureen Dermatology, Minnesota's top cool sculpting provider. Dr. Tureen is my dermatologist. We froze my fat, and those fat cells are gone for good. FDA approved, no pain, no downtime. Ranked top doctor 8 years in a row. Trust the experts at Tureen Dermatology. Call today, 651-633-6883, and say goodbye to stubborn fat.
If you're a contractor, it's now easier for you to do business with the Department of Labor and Industries. Go to lni.wa.gov/skip the line and make an appointment with us ahead of time. No waiting around, no wasted time away from your job site. You get in, get out, and get on your way. Easy. So contractors, just go to lni.wa.gov/skip the line to make an appointment and get back to doing what you do best.
KISW. The men's room returns with Miles and Thrill.
Our question, in your experience, what do you hope to never experience again? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Breck. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, gentlemen.
Hola.
Okay, so the thing that I never, ever want to experience again, I'm just getting gag reflexes thinking about this story. So my dad was a general contractor, did small handyman stuff, fixed sinks, bathrooms and stuff. Every once in a while, we would do bigger remodels. And I remember he had this one job where we had to go in this house to this woman who had passed away. Well, we get there and we realize this woman kind of was a hoarder. She had stuff everywhere, but it was so much worse than what the contractor or the realtor had made it out, because she had cans of food. She had animals living in there. There's animal feces everywhere. And the smell of there was dead animals in the closet. The smell of it was just so horrifying. Oh man!
What kind of animals are in the closet?
So there was at least a dead possum and a dead cat. I can tell you that much.
All right. Hey, I mean, are you technically able to clean up that kind of mess? It sounds like a biohazard area.
I mean, we did. I mean, the crazy thing, she had some cool stuff, but we didn't want to keep any of it too, because she had like old National Geographics from like the 70s and stuff, and some like what we thought were like fine china. So you know how people used to have fine china.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. And we didn't keep any of that stuff. But no, me and my dad just had our. We did wear not wetsuits, but like rubber
hazmat
gloves,
suits.
Boots. Yeah, hazmat suits and respirators.
How long did it take you guys to clean this place up?
Oh, it was just me and my dad, and it wasn't a relatively large house, maybe like 1,300 square feet, 3-bedroom, 1 bath. So I think it took us like 4 days, and one of those giant long dumpsters that you order from
Mm-hmm.
So we got one of them, and we filled it full twice.
Other than the stink, which goes a long way, what is the most disturbing thing you saw? Or was it the dead animals in the closet?
Oh, no. Okay, so probably the mold. The mold looked like it was breathing, like a lung, because it had sat there for so long. There was like this section in the living room where I think that she only ate canned food, and there was just empty cans of food all over the place. And the mold kind of had like grew out of each can and grew into like this grass stuff on top of all the cans, and it looked like it was alive.
Sounds to me like a teardown.
That is so gross, man. That is so gross.
Bring the bulldozer in.
We fixed it up and sold the house.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Man,
well, he must have got a hell of a deal on that to deal with all that crap.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Would you ever do it again? Even if you knew, like, look, at the end of this, you can make a profit by flipping and selling a house.
Oh no, both me and my dad threw up, so I don't like that. Yeah, I mean, I ate pizza for lunch today, feeling good about myself, and you guys call in with this question. I'm like, man, I'm not gonna have.
See, we saved you some calories. There you go. That's all right.
Can't even enjoy his damn pizza.
No keto. You don't need any of that. My mom, when she moved out of our house we grew up in, she took a job in Georgia. All of the kids had moved out of the house. Blah blah blah. So go to clean out the house, and it was a dumpster and a half.
And this is the house she's moving into, or the one she moved out of?
The house that she moved out of, the house that I grew up in.
Okay.
2.5 dumpsters worth of stuff.
Was it like that when you were growing up with her? Did she have like hoarder tendencies?
She did not throw anything away.
Yeah.
Anything from our childhood did not get thrown away. She kept all the artwork. She kept every single thing.
Art is a very subjective term.
That is correct. But nothing ever got thrown away.
Right. And once the kids leave,
right. But that was the
thing. It just
thing.
gets worse. And it's not. Or go ahead.
Well, you know, probably when you go, it's all the kids going, what do I want from growing up?
Sure.
So you just start going through stuff, and it's a very tedious process because you're going through memory lane the entire time, and there are things that you consider to be somewhat valuable from a sentimental reason.
Of course.
But that still doesn't mean you need it.
Right. You don't need to keep it. Take a picture.
Here's my bike from growing up. That's cool, but I don't really have a bike that I need to give a 6-year-old, and this is so antiquated and old. And I know bikes can be, redone and everything, but at the time I'm like,
I bet your bike weighed 90 pounds.
Where am I going to put this? If I bring this home, what am I going to do with this bike?
My dad wasn't too bad, but my mom definitely has those tendencies. It's like there was parts of the basement that had always just had crap in them, like just crap, just upon crap, and then the attic. So like when he passed away, like we went over there to clean out the house and stuff, and I was like. He probably just hadn't been up in this attic in 20 years.
Probably.
So
you're exactly right. So something you throw up there, you don't give it another thought.
Right. But also I will say this, the hoarding thing is shocking. Like I've been to like basically a mansion where they were like cleaner about it, but you could only hang out in 3 rooms. They'd be like, what's in those other rooms? Like they don't talk about it. But of course, you got to sneak and look in there. And it was just crap.
Really?
Yeah. When I was a landscaper with Bernie, there were some houses. I remember we went to this old house, outside of Baltimore, some rich neighborhood.
All right.
But same thing. And they had like an in-ground indoor pool which was unheard of. But same thing, this woman and her husband, they had just collected so much crap that the house was, whatever it would have been valued at, was slashed by millions.
If you have to deal with that, for
right.
sure.
And then they were hiring us just to go in there and clean it out. I mean, I remember we went in there and looked at it and stuff. They wanted us to clean out the pools. That's part of landscaping.
Yeah.
Especially above ground pools.
Right.
You get them out of there. We went in there and looked at it all, and like we walked out of there, but it ain't worth the money. It was that bad.
No.
Wow.
Yeah, that takes my anxiety to a different level. I have
Just
watching the show Hoarders gives me anxiety.
Yeah, we call 1-800-JUNK, man. If we start to accumulate anything, like, you got to call them. So it's a show up, and they always ask the same question. Have you used our service before? So I've used your service so many times, I don't understand how I still have junk to give you. I mean, it doesn't even make sense.
And your experience, what do you hope to never experience again? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Derek. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bicholas.
Hola.
How's it going, guys? Happy Wednesday.
Oh, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
So my story here, I've told before, but I haven't really told the end of it, which is kind of the part that I don't want to experience again. I used to work at a tree service, and I crushed my finger and ended up having a compound fracture, which means the bone, popped out of the skin. And so I finised my day, though, at work, and that's the part that I regret because I kind of thought it was just dislocated. Yeah. So I had my team leader wrap my finger up after asking him to set it, and he said no. And so I kind of just thought it was dislocated and finished my day, the last 4 hours of work that I had, and then I had about an hour and a half commute and stop and go traffic from Mercer Island back home to Linwood. So that's when the pain started kicking in and all the adrenaline started wearing off, and I drive stick. So it was a really rough time because I'm sure you guys know if something's swollen, you want to keep it above your heart. But every time I had to shift, which was at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, it was very frequently. So I regret not going to the hospital immediately, and I never want to experience that again.
I think a compound fracture says the hospital is required.
Yeah, without a doubt. But if you don't know, you don't know. But how long does it take for your compound fracture to heal? And is your finger still hinky, or is it fully functional?
Well, it only took a couple of days because I had surgery the day after, and so they put a plate and 4 screws in, and they had to, of course, get it to where it was straight because it was crooked after about a day, and it took, I'd say, about 6 months to fully heal, and I still have the screws in my finger because they went to remove the plate out, and the screws actually, the head screwed off.
I would say if that ever happens to you again, don't get it straightened out because then you can get a career in sports broadcasting.
Yeah, that's true. If you have crooked fingers, they will put you on TV.
They look all messed up, then you got a job, man. You got a job doing commentary.
Is it check out Brian Baldinger?
All those guys, all those old players.
I'm trying to think of the other player who recently I noticed he was kind of talking with his hands, but he left his one hand
Holt's
up.
pretty famous for
Torrey Holt, yeah. I mean, it's just, and once you notice it, so I appreciate Brian Baldinger's commentary on football, right? He's a knowledgeable guy. I like how he delivers information, but when he talks, he is a big hand talker.
Yeah.
And I realize when he's done speaking, I have maybe heard 20% of what he's going to say because once he starts, I know to look for the finger. And I mean, I focus on, it's like trying to find Where's Waldo. So I'm waiting for him to get more animated so he can start lifting his hands up. And I'm like, there it is. But I remember I pointed it out to my wife. She's like, I don't see it. I don't see it. Oh, my God.
That's the only problem with deformity is you don't often listen to a lot of things someone is saying because you're focused on something else that you're trying not to stare at.
Very recently, I was having a conversation with someone. No, not the bucktooth guy with the bowl haircut. That's different. I was actually having a conversation.
Are these chips a buck?
This guy that gave me my pizza today, look, real nice guy. He just had the biggest buck teeth. Nothing you can do about it. But he chose to accommodate the buck teeth with a bowl haircut. I mean, it's like, and I just kept staring at the dude thinking, like, why would you choose that haircut at all? But also, why would you choose it with buck teeth? You look like the character that Ben Stiller played in Tropic Thunder.
Oh, yeah.
Where he got panned. Not the main character he played. But,
Simple Jack.
Yeah, Simple Jack. I swear to God, the dude looked like you saw his ass today, right?
Yeah.
Simple Jack. But no, someone else, I will write down their name. I was having a conversation with this person earlier this week, and I kept telling myself, just don't stare. do not stare. And I realize as I'm telling myself that, I'm just staring right at this thing that I know they're aware of, you know. And when the conversation was done, I actually felt kind of bad. I'm like, man, I hope he didn't notice that I'm fixated on this part. And I couldn't even tell you what he said.
Lazy eye does that to me.
The flip side is, though, I've been in conversations with people, women, who I don't give a... For some reason, I'm like, oh, she's intelligent.
Okay.
It's like, she's just dressed sexy, and you're just listening to her. Right. So it works like the opposite way. Right. Like, I'll talk to her for half an hour, and it's like, why do you care?
You don't. Nothing she's saying.
Right, so it goes both ways. She could be talking to somebody that has a weird finger who's giving you actual information, but you're focused on the finger. Hey, she's talking to a girl with nice boobs, and it's like, well, all of a sudden, I care what she has to say.
Yep. It's all it takes.
In your experience, what do you hope to never experience again? 206-803-ROCK.
Actually, I haven't really thought about it that way. You're right.
I do. Wait, tell me more. I would love to hear your next story.
Right.
Hello, Devin. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola. Good show, gentlemen. Good to hear.
Oh, thank you.
Man, it must have been a rough one yesterday. That's about the fifth comment. Like, today's sounding good.
It's like when you're in school and your teacher says, you did really well in your homework. They're telling you that because you've been an idiot all year. Right? You finally spelled 6 of the 10 words right.
Good boy.
Yeah, good boy. Good job. So what do you never want to experience again?
I'll get right to it. Kidney stones, sir.
Oh.
That's fair.
Now, is it everything I've heard about kidney stones is a nightmare. It's something I hope to never have. But I've heard it go 2 ways. One, someone's gone to the doctor who was not suffering from them yet, so to speak, but the doctor identified through an x-ray you have kidney stones, so they had to anticipate the pain of peeing these things out. Or I hear the other side where it's like, I did not know I had kidney stones, and then I peed out a kidney stone, and it was like a blood-curdling scream.
Do they tell you how many you have to pass?
With the x-rays, yes. And see, it used to be not terrible until the big one.
Until the big one. Is the big one always the last one? Is that typically how that works?
Oh, no. It's, well, unless it kills you. I've got genetic predispositions for them, so I just got to stay well hydrated.
All right. So how many times have you gone through the kidney stone process?
Maybe 4 or 5. The multiple surgeries, that's big.
So what do they do for them? I've heard, like, I don't know, there's some kind of sonic treatment where they try to, like, vibrate them into smaller pieces, so to speak?
Oh, yeah, that's lithotripsy. There's some big words for it. They can vibrate them from the outside in most cases.
How many have you passed?
Past 5. The big one they couldn't get at even with the vibration, so they had to use the laser.
They had to use what?
They had to send a laser up through the urethra.
I got you. Lasers.
Wow. Man, laser catheter. Urethra.
Laser catheter.
Yes, sir.
That sounds like a James Bond villain. And finally, I will shoot a laser through your urethra. That's...
Give me the codes, Mr. Bond.
Dude, it's seriously making me tighten my ass right now.
This is the penis laser right here.
God almighty.
They knocked me out.
Yeah, thank God.
Well, I told you, my buddy got him in college because he, what was it? He swam in college.
All right.
So I guess there was
chlorine, maybe? Is that
something with the chlorine, and then you're in water, but I guess those guys, they're working so hard. So even though you're in water, you forget to kind of drink water.
Okay. All right.
And would get dehydrated. But same thing. His blood or his urine had blood in it. And he's like, but he's super healthy, super fit.
He's a swimmer.
Right. In college. He's like 21. But he's like curled up in the bathroom, and they're like, we got to take you to the hospital. And they're like, yep, you got kidney stones.
How long did it take for him to pass them all, man?
I can't remember. I mean, when he tells the story, it's horrible.
I mean, every story with kidney stones is equally as terrible as every... Like, there's no one who says, but on the bright side. Like, they never say that. Like, it sucks.
Yeah, I just passed him real quick.
Yeah, the description I heard, it feels like you're peeing out a shard of glass.
Right. My buddy in Baltimore, he had prostate cancer. So he did this, I don't know if it was experimental or it was a new thing at the time, where wherever the areas were that were cancerous, at Johns Hopkins, they put radioactive seeds.
Right.
And they planted those seeds around the tumor.
Okay.
And that was the idea of shrinking it that way internally. But these seeds were passed through your urethra. So we're at the bar one night in Pasadena, Maryland. We're learning about
lovely place.
Moving to the Glen Burnie area. We found out last week.
Hey, Juan.
Yeah. So we're at this bar and we're just shooting the crap. And he's like, I got to go to the bathroom, man. Like right now. And I was like, well, just go, whatever.
Right.
So he like runs to the bathroom, uses the bathroom, and all I see is like it was one of those. It's an older bar, not like there's the door is open to the bathroom kind of thing. You can walk in, but you could not see anybody using the bathroom from the external. So all I see is Chuck in the door. He's like, dude, come here, man, come here. And I was like, all right, whatever. So I get up, look in the urinal, and he points down the urinal, and there's one of those radioactive seeds. From Hawkins.
What does it look like? I mean,
it looks like a small little pill bullet. It looks like the tiniest kind of pill that you might be able to take, like a little capsule or size, but yeah, it was a different shape, and it looked like it was from outer space.
Does it look radioactive?
No, it didn't look radioactive, but it didn't look normal either.
Right.
He's like, there's one of them right there. There's a seed. It's the second one I passed. And I was like, get out of here, man.
That is weird.
That is crazy. And actually, that treatment worked for him for a while. Eventually, it caught up to him, but he did better than most.
Is it specifically urine? I mean, like the man masturbated. Is it a potential
I don't know.
that you pop one of those?
I don't know. Again, I think this was like right in the infancy of this procedure.
Okay.
So I'd never heard of it before, but he had him in there, and I was like, dude, is it okay to sit near you, man? Like, are you radioactive? He's like, I'm fine, man. I'm like,
when you said you got radioactive seeds in
your body, man. Like,
if you sit on Santa's lap, well, he gets testicular cancer. You know what I'm saying?
You're like radioactive, man. In your experience, what do you hope to never experience again? 206-803-ROCK.
Hello, Robbie. Welcome to the men's room.
Liquor and whores.
Liquor and whores.
Fellow Nevadian, and that's what keeps Nevada profiting. So,
kidney stones?
Liquor and whores.
Oh, liquor and whores. That's our first positive kidney stone. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Well, thank you. We appreciate that.
Love you guys. My story. I think I was 11 years old. Had a mini bike, and my parents were getting their house remodeled, and so there was excavators and like heavy machinery, and I needed gas for my mini bike. And so I was like, well, I'm just going to take this can of gas and fill up my mini bike. I was with my buddy at the time. Parents weren't home. And fill up my mini bike with a can of gas and try and start it. Obviously, it wouldn't start, so I called my dad. I'm like, Dad, my bike's not starting. He goes, you put gas in it? Like, yeah, I did. I told him I use the gas from the excavators, over there. And he goes, well, that's diesel. I was like, oh, man. So he says, so you need to siphon it out. And I understood what siphoning was and whatnot, and I thought that I was being smart at this time. And I said, well, I'm not going to use my mouth. I'm going to use my parents' vacuum.
Oh, boy.
To siphon the diesel gas out. And if I can tell the story, I literally put the vacuum right to the diesel, and literally, I don't even know how many seconds, not even milliseconds, it hit it, boom, it was an old vacuum, and it just goes, terrible sound effects, but that's what it was. It was like a kind of a bomb going off, and me and my buddy ran out of the garage, caught on flames, and just exploded.
Jesus, dude.
The vacuum or your bike or both?
Actually, bike was okay. Vacuum, though, was absolutely done for. Absolutely done for. And I was actually texting my mom to wait. It's called an Electrolux.
Oh, yeah. Those are old school. Yeah. They were expensive at the time. They were like the Cadillac of vacuums.
Yes, I guess. I had no idea. I just wanted to use the vacuum. But, yeah, that is, I'm a smart human being, I promise. You just learn from your mistakes.
Well, that's how you get smart. Look, that's why they call certain people book smart, right? Oh, yeah, this is what they taught me in school. I can remember. And then you have street smart. That would be you. Like, hey, man, this is a bad experience lends to being street smart.
Exactly. Coming up, the return of Who Sucks Less. You are listening to The Men's Room.
What you watch depends on what kind of mood you're in. Sometimes you're craving comedies like Friends or South Park, and sometimes you're more into dramas like HBO's Succession and House of the Dragon. There's also cooking shows like Chopped and Beat Bobby Flay, and even movies like The Lord of the Rings and Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Well, Max is the streaming destination that has the best of entertainment for whatever mood you're in anytime. And plans start at as little as $9.99 a month. Max, the one to watch. Subscription required. Visit Max.com.
T-Mobile's network can help keep you connected to all your favorite podcasts when you're out and about. Whether you're an early bird looking to dive into a daily news podcast or a night owl who wants to catch up on the latest reality TV drama, T-Mobile will keep you connected on their strong and reliable network. T-Mobile covers more highway miles with 5G than anyone. So if you need great coverage, especially when you're on the go, check out T-Mobile. Find out more at T-Mobile.com/CY. That's SEEWHY.
Odyssey celebrates Pride by amplifying the voices, music, and conversations of the LGBTQ plus community. Download the free Odyssey app and listen to podcasts celebrating and having conversations about the issues facing LGBTQ plus Americans, like It's Okay to Say Gay, Queer Intentions, and The Bald and the Beautiful with Trixie Mattel and Katia Zamo. To hear music by and for the LGBTQ plus community, plus podcasts and more, go to Odyssey.com/pride or download the free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY.
Are you dealing with a personal injury? Don't go it alone. Turn to the experienced team at Phillips Law Firm. Their attorneys have helped thousands of clients get the compensation they deserve. Call Phillips Law Firm now. Call 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
What if comparing car insurance rates was as easy as putting on your favorite podcast? With Progressive, it is. Just visit the Progressive website to quote with all the coverages you want. You'll see Progressive's direct rate, then their tool will provide options from other companies so you can compare. All you need to do is choose the rate and coverage you like. Quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 29 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, The Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9. KISW.
We're sure of who sucks less coming up. First time for a few emails from the men's room at KISW.com.
You've got mail. You've got mail.
And one from our question: in your experience, what do you hope to never experience again? Guys, I never want to go to alcohol and drug treatment. I've been to 7 residential treatments. Last one was at the Seattle UGM, right down on 2nd Occidental Park. I'm 54 now, 9 years, 9 months, and 3 days California sober. Love you guys. That from Raymond, the transplant from Klamath Falls, Oregon.
I mean, it was stacked against you from the jump there, being from Klamath Falls.
Jesus. From the jump.
From the jump.
On to the birthday request, guys. Today is my daughter Madison's 2nd birthday. Can she get a little kid fish sandwich and a backwards fart? That from her dad, Stephen, in Kansas City, Missouri.
Fish challenge!
Gentlemen, my buddy Ethan celebrates one more round around the great big fireball in the sky. Let's get a backwards fart, followed by a big old bong rip. Liquor and whores, guys. That from Dennis.
That's really disturbing if you think about that combination.
Oh, Machalas, I haven't made any friends since last year, so I'm sending in my own birthday request again. How about the dirty Germans talking about why sometimes it's better to spend some time alone? P.S. guys, had an awesome time meeting you at Live Day. Can't wait to do it again. That from the lovely Kari.
Yeah, I think one of the best things about being alone is that it makes being a peeping Tom much more accurate.
Yeah, it's really about that freedom to masturbate in every room in the house. So just on the couch. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I like to be alone in other people's houses when I masturbate.
Well, it depends on where you are positioned in proximity to the windows.
Yeah, you should be standing directly in front.
Yeah, in Germany we have this old saying, close the blinds first.
Gentlemen, my son is 29 today, a husband and hardworking father with 7 kids. he still manages to make time for me. Eddie, the only man I ever loved, please deliver his birthday spankings from Ted Smith and the Dirty Germans. You guys are simply the best. Thank you guys, and rock on. Sincerely, that from Tony.
Yeah, I plan on spanking both the front and the back. The front hurts a little more, but if you can get through the pain, it's an amazing finish.
So, you know, it's weird. That used to always be a tradition on my birthday. Give myself a spanking.
Yeah.
Is anybody else confused by that email?
A little. Yeah.
All right.
All right, guys, here we go. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday to you, to you, to you.
Ya's the Dirty Germans, brought to you by Men's Room Original Sausage. Available through Uli's World Famous Sausage, mensroomlive.com, and other fine retailers. Schweinefleisch.
Think of Bob, a couple extra emails here. Ghost from Big Dummy last Thursday on our Men's Room poll. We said, what do you hope that they find out to be real? Was it Bigfoot, the Loch Ness Monster,
Ghost and aliens, right?
And aliens on there. Guys, listening to the Ghost podcast, the Ghost is an option, and it should be real. If you haven't seen the show on CBS called Ghosts, it's really funny. Writers are very clever. It's worth a watch. You can get it on Paramount Plus. Each episode is only 22 minutes, so it's not a big-time investment. That from Jim, our loyal Pasco podcaster on the Odyssey app.
I have not seen the show, but I have heard very good things about it.
Ted's Arizona trip. All the guys listening to the Happy Hour and Ted's trip to Arizona, thought I'd throw this out there. I've had a blast there the last couple of years. But check out the Innings Festival in Tempe. Baseball-themed rock show. Got to meet Randy Johnson and Edgar Martinez this year, plus some awesome music. This year's lineup is below. Cheers, guys. That from Shane. So you've got Green Day, Weezer, the Black Crowes, the Offspring, the Pretty Reckless. Another night is Eddie Vedder, along with Marcus Mumford and the Head and the Heart. So they've got an actual baseball and
that's
music
this
festival.
weekend?
That was February the 25th through February the 26th. So it's already passed this year, but they do it every year.
Okay. Because I was like, that's a great idea.
But you got to remember, man, I mean, this is right before, and as Ted was saying on the Happy Hour last night, this is right before the city of Arizona went through the Waste Management Classic, which is one of the more party-oriented golf tournaments where a lot of people go to. Then they had the Super Bowl down there.
But I think this is the week after.
Is this the week after, the 26th?
That's what I'm saying.
Damn. That's one thing after another down
right,
there,
whether
man.
it's sporting events, like I said, the NASCAR race was last Sunday, like, it's just, right, it's like Florida. It's like our West Coast Florida, but they just have so many big events down there.
They do.
It's wild. I'm going to start going every year.
Subject, Gabe's in Morgantown, West Virginia. Guys, yesterday Miles mentioned a discount store called Gabe's in Morgantown. Growing up, every few summers, I would fly across the country to visit my grandparents, who lived in very rural West Virginia in a town called Ireland, which is so small that no one I've ever met from West Virginia has ever even heard of it.
Have you heard of Ireland, West Virginia?
No.
Damn.
Well, anyway, every time we would go back, my grandparents would buy me a separate duffel bag and load me up with clothes from Gabe's to take back home for the upcoming school year. That's what my parents did for me. That's where I went for my school clothes.
All right.
And yes, it may have been a brand name like Nike or Adidas, but rarely could you find something without some sort of stitching issue, screen print mistake. Well, after Gabe's, we would go to a Mexican restaurant down the street, and on 2 separate occasions, we left said Mexican restaurant, and on the long drive home, I proceeded to mistakenly trust a fart. Thankfully, I had a duffel bag full of new clothes to change into from Gabe's, and the locals received 2 pairs of S-filled underwear that I discarded somewhere off State Route 19. Thanks, guys. That from Danny. On the subject of what happened down there. Pacholas was regarding the subject about what happened down there. Long story short, I developed testicular cancer at 28, which can happen, I guess. Check your boys. That spread to a lymph node in my back. So after a few months of chemo and abdomen surgery to remove a tumor, I'm in remission now. But to bring it back to the subject, the abdomen surgery severed the nerve that connects my brain to my trigger.
Oh, God.
AKA no mess after the act, even during solo time. So everything else works the same, sensation, use, just no mess. Honestly, never been a fan of the finish anyway, so I'll play, no cleanup. I don't know if that's too graphic or unwanted, but wanted to share. Keep on rocking, boys. That from Prime Time.
Prime Time.
That would be weird.
Yes, that would be a little weird.
That would be weird. And one more on what happened below the waist. Guys playing lacrosse on Bainbridge Island a few years ago, player on my team, an incredible midfielder who always got shots on goal during a game, would make it a point to make his first shot straight at the goalie's junk. let me tell you, even wearing a cup, that still hurts with a ball of hard rubber hits you at 90 miles an hour. Now he teaches elementary school. I hope his class never challenges him to a game of lacrosse. Cheers, guys. That from Chris.
Now, the men's room wants to know who sucks less?
Yay! Time for Who Sucks Less. Stephen Thrill, you bring us 3 stories from the news each and every week. They all suck. It is up to us to determine which of these 3 stories suck the least. Now, if you happen to follow us and like the men's room on Facebook, the debate is already underway on Who Sucks Less.
Yes, indeed. And today, all 3 stories related to money. Trying to make that money. Now, keep in mind, in one case, it is an individual person. Another group involves a group of hackers. And another one, it's not the woman in the story, but the company she works for. But let's start with the bad woman. The bad woman in Pennsylvania, who's been sentenced to 5 years in prison for forcing her daughter to fake a serious illness and subjecting her to unnecessary medical treatment. Shelley M. Norika, she pleaded guilty to 1 count of making false statements relating to healthcare matters concerning her then 5-year-old daughter. She admitted that back in February of 2020, she fabricated serious illnesses and made fraudulent statements to healthcare providers in connection with her adopted daughter. The daughter was then subjected to a battery of unnecessary treatments as her condition was falsified to neurologists, including a video of her faking a seizure. Now, according to the report, prosecutors recognized the mother's behavior was, quote, consistent with facetious disorder imposed on another. In other words, it's formally known as Munchausen syndrome by proxy. In other words, a mental illness in which a caregiver makes up or causes the illness or injury to a person under their care so that they can get attention or sympathy.
It's got to be a German term, right?
Munchausen, yeah, for sure. Now, however, that was not the whole story. The mother was also receiving, quote-unquote, enhanced Medicare and adoption subsidies. In other words, she was making a little more money, okay, because they thought her daughter was actually sick. So she got money from local charities as well and online fundraising, all of which gave her financial incentive to continue the scheme. Well, her sentence also includes nearly $140,000 in restitution to the people and organizations that she had defrauded. So in other words, tells her 5-year-old adopted daughter, pretend you're sick, take you to the hospital, they subject you to these battery of tests, fake a seizure on video, because the whole time she's making money through fundraising and all the rest of that.
Oh, God.
Now we talked about a group of hackers. A ransomware gang has posted photos of Lehigh Valley Health Network cancer patients on the dark web. Why did they do that? Well, the health network refused to pay a ransom last month following a cyber attack. Basically, this group, known as Black Cat, they're associated with Russia and known for similar cyber attacks in academia and healthcare sectors. The group posted a message saying it had stolen patient data, including nude photos, passports, and questionnaires, and was ready to publish them. Well, the Lehigh Valley Health Network, they said the stolen information includes 3 screenshots, which are photographs of cancer patients receiving radiation oncology treatment, as well as documents containing patient information. So Black Cat demanded a ransom payment, which the hospital refused to pay. And according to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, they said in a warning back in January that Black Cat usually demands ransoms around $1.5 million. Well, the hospital didn't pay it, and Black Cat went ahead and posted these people's information and photos. Okay. Did not get their money. Now, this one's messed up. Like, everyone can bitch about the company they work for, but this is just bad. A 25-year-old woman in New York, she noticed that her company posted a job listing for the same job that she does, a tech writer, and the advertised pay was a lot more than she was making. It was anywhere from $32,000 to $90,000 more. Okay, so she's reading this. This is the job she has. So to make things worse, she'd been trying to get a salary increase for months without any luck. So what did she do? She applied for the new job. Then she tweeted about it. It went viral. The company responded by taking the listing down, then reposting it as a separate job. Then they claimed it was an internal posting, wasn't meant for anyone to apply externally. And then they floated talk about having possible layoffs from the company. Now, it's unclear what madness was going on behind the scenes, but the woman says she hasn't been contacted about her application for the new job, for the new higher-paying job, and she actually expects to be fired for drawing attention to this whole thing. But it sounds like she might be fine. She's using the unexpected attention to promote a book of her poetry, and apparently people are buying it. And people are sending her job offers and listings, and she's actively pursuing them. But this all happened within the past week, so she's still working at the same company for now. Okay. So she's working there. She sees the company, says, hey, we need another person does what she does. He said we're going to pay them anywhere from $32,000 to $90,000 more. We have the ransomware gang coming out of Russia that basically posted patient information and photos from the hospital because the hospital would not pay a ransom of $1.5 million. And the first story, the Pennsylvania mother who convinced her 5-year-old adopted daughter to fake an illness so that she could make money.
Well, the mom sucks. A lot.
Yeah.
Ransomware-wise, I don't know what personal information they posted, but that sucks, too.
Oh, it's all of your, look.
Passport information, all those things.
Right? If I go to and ask about, hell, other than my kids or my wife, if I go to the hospital and ask about any patient, I mean, they can tell you they're doing fine, but they can't tell you more than that.
So I'm going to have to go with the company in New York. I'm not shocked by that. And I'm assuming they're the ones that are up for bids on who sucks the least.
Yeah, the company, not the one pursuing the job.
I am not shocked that they have not fired her. She still works there.
Right.
And because of this, she has an opportunity to maybe work for different companies. Her book sales went up as far as her poetry or whatever she was doing there. So even though they were not paying her what they were going to pay the next person they hired to do the exact same, I don't expect anything less from a major company like that. To me, that's like par for the course. So in a way, compared to the other two, I'm not saying that that's okay. I'm just saying that I believe that one sucks the least.
Right, and frankly, we don't know if she was any good at that job.
But we don't know.
Right. I mean, it's still harsh, right? You figure you just fire her, then post it. But
well, they're not
hiring for her job.
Right. They're not specific for her job. It's just somebody who does the same job she does at the same company, right? So we need another salesperson. Our sales staff makes $150,000 a year. Now you've been a salesperson here, and you're like, you're paying me $60,000 a year.
Right.
So, yeah.
I mean, yeah.
So it's not taking your job specifically. It's someone doing what you do. And you're
based on how this spread.
But the thing
she kind of gave herself some protection based on what the company wants to, as far as their image is concerned. If they fire her, then they're going to look even worse.
That's why she's still there.
So, yeah, exactly. She still has a job, but she has more job offers now. I don't know if they're as good as or better than, but...
Well, I'm sure it'll be above her pay grade because the people offering her job. At least you know what she makes.
And her side hustles make a little bit more money.
There you go.
And you are right. I don't think out of the three, that one sucks the least.
And the mom, right, the woman who adopted a kid just to have her fake sickness...
That's the worst.
That bugs me the most, because to me...
Bad for the kid, but then also the people... from these charities and fundraisers think they're doing something good, and you're just spending the money.
Well, also, that girl was adopted.
That's what I'm saying. So
that is her mom.
Does that qualify as trafficking?
I would
if the
say
purpose of adopting a kid, you assume it's because you love this kid and want to provide a good future for them, right? Or the opportunity for it. But if you adopt a kid and the first thing you do
is start monetizing it.
Right. You go like, dude, to me, that's what trafficking would be.
So hopefully that girl was removed from that parental situation.
You know, that's the thing. I don't know. I would hope so. But, you know, that's such a convoluted thing. You've already been adopted. Right. You know, I don't know what the final outcome. Well, she had to be removed from her care because mom was going to jail.
Oh, I see. Well, that's
one thing.
And then the ransomware thing, that's a different one. I haven't heard of that. Like, because you're posting their information. They probably posted pictures. I can't imagine. They
posted 3 pictures, and some of them they were nude, but they were nude in the sense that they're at the hospital getting treatment. So,
but I'm just saying, for those patients, that's going to suck.
That's awful.
Yeah, like you don't want that. I mean, that's kind of the tough part with dealing with that kind of stuff. You either pay them or you don't.
Right. It's like kidnapping. Yeah, the money. Hey, this is what we're saying. Mm-hmm. These are your options, right?
Yep.
I don't know. I got to agree with Miles on this. I'm going to go with the company. Not because it's okay, but that's typical corporate American crap.
Plus, what do we expect?
Yeah, exactly.
That debate continues.
That's what happened with corporate America. It's kind of gone that way. So, right, like nobody expects any less.
No, that's true.
Debate continues on Who Sucks Less. If you like the Men's Room on Facebook. Shot of the Day's coming up. You are listening to the Men's Room.
Imagine you're looking at a balancing scale with everything you do for other people on one side and everything you do for yourself on the other side. If it isn't balanced, maybe it's time to spend a little more time on you. And therapy is a great place to start. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist online who can help you find that balance and stick to it. Visit BetterHelp.com/positive to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp.com/positive.
You diet, you work out, and still there's that one stubborn spot. Hey, it's Jason. I just went after my stubborn fat by doing cool sculpting at Tureen Dermatology, Minnesota's top cool sculpting provider. Dr. Tureen is my dermatologist. We froze my fat, and those fat cells are gone for good. FDA approved. No pain, no downtime. Ranked top doctor 8 years in a row. Trust the experts at Tureen Dermatology. Call today, 651-633-6883, and say goodbye to stubborn fat.
What you watch depends on what kind of mood you're in. Sometimes you're craving comedies like Friends or South Park, and sometimes you're more into dramas like HBO's Succession and House of the Dragon. There's also cooking shows like Chopped and Beat Bobby Flay, and even movies like The Lord of the Rings and Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Well, Max is the streaming destination that has the best of entertainment for whatever mood you're in anytime. And plans start at as little as $9.99 a month. Max, the one to watch. Subscription required. Visit max.com.
If you're a contractor, it's now easier for you to do business with the Department of Labor and Industries. Go to lni.wa.gov/skip the line and make an appointment with us ahead of time. No waiting around, no wasted time away from your job site. You get in, get out, and get on your way. Easy. So contractors, just go to lni.wa.gov/skip the line to make an appointment and get back to doing what you do best.
99.9 KISW. The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
All right, coming up in just a few minutes, we'll drink a toast with the shot of the day. And we do have your headlines on the way at 5:50. But first, quick check out with Mike Honk and some of the stories and headlines he is not working on.
All right, 63% of workers claimed pet benefits would persuade them to stick with their company.
Such as?
Basically, covering vet bills and other medications.
Literally pet.
And whatnot.
Whiz, that's pretty pricey.
Yeah, well, that's why. That's why they're wanting the pet benefits,
Yeah.
Which I can understand, but...
My favorite pet benefit is?
Not having one.
I was going to say meeting a hot chick at the dog park. Pet benefit.
Pet benefits.
Pet benefit. Hello, ladies.
Woof. Except the dog I watch bites other dogs.
See, you can't go to the dog park.
No, can't.
Man, I'll let you take the Brillo pet out one of these days. He is a chick magnet. He is.
Sure, I can't believe you still call him the Brillo pet.
Well, I blame Miles, but I will. For whatever reason, I will take him out for a walk in a heavy traffic area, and he is the most popular guy out on that street. Good. I could take him to doggone Redfest, and he would be the more popular guy than I would.
Nice.
Like, they wouldn't notice my dumb ass on the end of the leash.
Right. Well, Stella's the same way. If I took her to Red Festival, and there's just a bunch of people, good to go.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Walk her to the local dog park.
Bad
trouble.
Time. Bad time.
Yep.
Lead paint was discovered in a school's mental health closet.
Huh. You wonder if one feeds the other.
What's a mental health closet?
My guess is a place where students can go and get a grip on their mental health again.
Oh, like and cry?
Yeah, probably just a breakdown room.
We used to call that the library.
Yeah, the mental or the bathroom.
Right,
yeah.
Bathroom stall. Water closet, mental health
the
closet.
swing set at recess. It's like
right.
Kids cry. It's
around
what they do.
the back of the building. Right, they're processing stuff.
Or just in the middle of class. They're kids.
Why not?
When they gotta cry, they're gonna cry.
Right, you want that loud time where everybody else is, they're grouped up and they're all chatting loud with their friends, so you can just go cry in the corner real quick. Maybe excuse yourself.
Crying at school is the worst.
It is.
Yeah. And usually it was pain related. Some kids will break down because the teacher yelled at them.
Sure.
Like, don't be a pee. But, you bust your head up in the playground.
Did your teacher say that over in Baltimore?
Yes, that's what the teacher said. Stop being a pee.
Sorry, Mr. Hill.
One thing I can't abide by. I don't care if you're talking to class. Quit crying about it. Stop being a bitch.
The quickest adopters of new smart home technologies, boomers.
Really?
Huh.
Now,
I didn't see that one coming.
Someone was saying it's because their kids tend to get them for them.
All right.
So it really is the generation that buys it for them, but they outfit their homes with it just to make their lives easier.
My parents, they geared up, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm pretty archaic because that's just how I roll. But, man, you go to my parents, they had everything. And they're in their 80s. They had everything.
Right. And that might be some of it, too, is that the boomers are a generation that they've got their retirement money. They've got plenty. And so they just, they can afford to smartify their house.
I'm also convinced they just wanted to talk to Alexa.
I just want to know
someone else
here
to talk
to.
Because they would just say things into the ether, and then that little speaker would pop on and tell them crap. My kids are like, can we get one? Like, no.
Right?
No, we cannot.
Old novelties. A nature photographer in Connecticut snapped an eagle swooping in to grab a slice of pepperoni pizza.
That's not that shocking.
Cool. If that's not the most American picture right there.
Yeah, but you got to imagine an eagle for the first time eating a slice of pepperoni pizza. He's like, look, I've hunted. I've been all over this great land of ours. This is the most delicious thing.
If they get an Ozzy Osbourne one
that I've ever eaten.
God, this is good.
Yes. He absolutely thought that was the most decadent thing he's ever put in his mouth.
That eagle is going to stalk people outside a pizza place in there.
Well, and more to Ted's point, they're scavengers. They don't do near as much killing as they do just like, hey, there's something over there. So they'll just run down and grab it.
Yeah, I mean, that's their whole shtick.
They're just seagulls with knives. I mean, when you think about it.
Seagulls with knives.
Yeah. Seagulls with knives.
Well, seagulls also, like, when you see one up close, like, they are so much bigger than I. Like, I don't know why I'm shocked every time, but I am. I'm like, damn, look at the size of that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, seagulls? Yeah.
Yeah.
They're huge.
Like pigeons, like, whatever.
But you know what? Having somebody steal a slice of your pizza is just something that you wouldn't stand for, especially if you were in a restaurant. And there, you know what? We're not the only ones that can't stand people's behaviors in restaurants. Sometimes the servers have to deal with a lot of crap from people, which brings us to...
The Men's Room Top 10. The Men's Room Top 10.
The 10 worst customer behaviors that restaurant servers can't stand. Here's one. On the side. I'll have the Eggs Benedict, but I want the hollandaise sauce on the side. And can I get a separate plate for my English muffin? The more side plates you pile up in front of your gullet, the more I want to take that cloth napkin you tucked into your shirt and choke you out with it. Bon appetit.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever heard that one.
What's that?
Eggs Benedict with the hollandaise sauce
on the side.
I mean, that's kind of the whole point of the Eggs Benedict.
But people
If you want to control the holidays.
But it's, one of the, but you'll get something like an Eggs Benedict where the combination of these things is kind of what makes it. But I want the eggs here, hollandaise here, English muffin. So you don't want an Eggs Benedict is what you're saying.
Right. Yeah. You just wanted all the food ready.
You want poached eggs with dipping sauce.
Oh, that's not... Can I get the poached eggs with the hollandaise sauce on the side? So these are the 10 worst customer behaviors that restaurant servers can't stand. Impossible meal changes being the first one here on the list. Which... It talks about one respondent mentioned instances where people would ask to change the unchangeable, such as, quote, asking for pepper sauce without pepper or slow-cooked barbecue ribs without barbecue sauce.
We've had that before. Get the rice and beans, but without the beans. And the answer is no.
No.
It's called rice.
Right. Ta-da.
Stay home, make rice, but it's already mixed together, like so.
Unnecessary trips. A Reddit user with experience in the restaurant industry made sure to mention instances where diners asked for things one by one each time the server stops at their table. This forces servers to make more trips to the table than needed, an issue that customers can prevent by asking for everything all at once so the server can fulfill the request. Not to mention, it slows down other tables. It does. You are not the only table in their section. They have about 900 other people that
You're
they
the guy driving 20 on 5.
It's like,
so you're just holding everything else
It's
up.
like when you get your food, you say, you know what, I asked for a side of ranch. Is that coming out? And they're like, oh, yeah, I'll get you a side of ranch. And then they go and get your side of ranch and bring it back to the table. And the person with you goes, I have a side of ranch, too.
Oh, God. I did it like 5 months ago, and I still feel like a jackass for doing it. That's exactly what it was. It was a side of something, and he goes, anybody else? I was like, nah. And then I was watching my buddy eat his, and he came back. I said, you know what? I will take that side. And I was like, I am so sorry. He's like, it's all right. But
At least you apologize.
I knew better. Sometimes it will still happen, and I think waiter and waitresses are fine with it, but yeah.
Well, and you owning it is another thing. Like, I recognize that I just really put you out and off schedule.
You know what it is? You did the one thing we had when someone cuts you off in traffic, and they just hold their hand up.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I do that all the time.
You still cut me off, but just that much goes, I'm not angry anymore.
My bad, man. I'm sorry.
It's so stupid. No, I'm not angry that I had to slam on my brakes because you put your hand up.
Right. 3 middle-aged guys at a bar top. This should be easy.
Should be.
The oh yes, I'm ready to order. One thing that every server has dealt with 1,000 times is that frustration every time is when diners say that they're ready to order, only to proceed to ask lots of questions and clearly have no idea what they'll be getting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm ready. What's on the sandwich?
I think you can also do that to your other friends. I had somebody in town. I hadn't seen him in years. The waiter was busy. You guys ready to order? I said, yes. He said, yes. And then he kept asking questions. And finally, I just put my hand up and said, you know what?
just come back.
Yeah,
right. So, like, you got to know who else is at the table. If Mike's not ready, so don't say you're ready.
Right.
Just don't say you're ready.
Yeah.
That's why they ask you. Are you ready to order? And it's the same thing every time. We went to dinner last night because we're dinner with the kids. First thing he does, comes by, asks for drinks, ready to go. Cool. Comes back. You guys ready to order? Wife wasn't. We said no. Cool. Came back. Now we're ready. We got our entrees now all at the same time. Ta-da. Smooth sailing. It's really not difficult.
Nope. 10 worst customer behaviors that restaurant servers can't stand. Number 7, when you're trying to get their attention.
Do not snap at
That's
people.
just a big
Don't snap at people, period.
Or the whistle. That's rude.
Or tapping your credit card on the bar, like tick, 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 tick,
right.
tick, tick, tick.
I know, dude. I'll be back. Hang on. Now, there are times when I am on an abbreviated schedule. Like, this happened not terribly long ago. They brought us our food. I said, could I actually get the check when you get a chance? Because I know that they're swamped. They're busy. I was like, I'm in a little bit of a hurry here, so if you could bring the check, that'd be awesome. And then I will hold out my card as the check is landing. Like, I believe you.
Half the time, I just give them the credit card at the top.
Oh, that's
like if we're going to the movie or something like, we're on a time limit,
right?
And they get it. It's understood. You don't even have to explain it,
right? I just want to get this paid for. Let's see number 6: hands-off parenting. Most servers are more than happy to have kids coming to dinner with mom and dad, assuming mom or dad don't stop parenting once the family sits down to dinner. Don't let them run around the doggone place.
I mean, that's just a fair call.
Smashing things all over the place. And I get it. Kids are kids, and wrangling them is a chore.
It is, but that's what parenthood is. Deal with it.
Right. Wrangling you guys is a chore.
I mean, dude, I signed up for. I was in Elmer's on Sunday morning getting breakfast. And this kid has got a football, like a Nerf football, tucked underneath his arm.
Right.
One of the smaller ones. And
slap it out.
He is just running through the restaurant everywhere, dodging between tables.
I was like, look at this guy go. Oh, my God.
Wow.
He's like 4 years old. He's taking through.
Jeepers creepers. Number 5.
What time of morning was it?
It was like 8 o'clock.
Yeah. Like, I'll write that off.
Maybe.
Number 5. No offense, but like Red Robin. They're big on, hey, we're family.
I understand
There's
Red
kids
Robin.
running around.
It's a kid-centric place, right? No doubt about it. They give you a freaking balloon just for being there. So I understand, kids, but I'm prepared for that, though. And the only reason I'm there is because my kids are with me.
Yeah. Number 5, chatting away on the phone. Multiple respondents shared how much the servers hate when customers are chatting away on their cell phones when the server just wants to take the order and do their job. Dude, pull your nose out of your phone for 2 frickin' seconds to let me know what you want.
Or if you're talking, go outside.
Right. There you go. At least let me know that you're not ready for me yet. Yeah. Number 4 of the 10 things, the worst customer behaviors that restaurant servers can't stand, flirting. Flirting. This is a person whose job it is to approach and engage with you multiple times throughout the course of the meal. And by engaging in unwanted advances, customer makes the employee feel uncomfortable and even unsafe. Just don't do it.
They don't. Mm-hmm. They're going to act like they like you because they want your money. That is how things work, right?
Be cordial, have some fun with them, but don't get
flirted with all the time when we're working, and it's
and I hate it.
Yeah, I just say, just please, it's not the time right now.
Doggone married.
Yeah. Stop it.
Stop.
Yeah, stop.
Are you hitting on me?
Number 3, you do the math. It says it's perfectly all right to divide up the checks between 2, 3, or even more credit or debit cards, but it's only assuming the customers are asking the server to divide the check evenly. Asking the server to determine who owes what is just not okay.
Yeah, I agree with that. If you're going to split it all up, hand credit cards, like, if I'm the server, I'm breaking this down equally.
Yes.
Well, if there's 3 of you, I got bad news. One of you is 34%.
That's right. Now, there are some systems that I've seen where they do have the ability to move individual items over. If you're going to do that in the first place, open up separate checks.
Right. I agree.
Yes, they have the ability. Stop wasting these guys' time. You don't like it when anybody wastes your time at work. Don't be the person that wastes somebody else's time at work. Mm-hmm. Number 2, camping, they say. Once you and your party are done with your meal and the bill is paid, it's pretty much time for you to leave.
I agree with that one. It depends. Like, if it's toward the end of the night and they're closing, I mean, get up and leave by the time they close. But otherwise, they need that table to make money.
Right.
Right? I mean, that's the whole thing.
See, now, I'm on the other side of it. I was a dishwasher there for a hot second, and we had somebody that showed up. We closed at 11. Guess what time they came in?
10:55.
Yeah, damn right they did.
You will eat DNA. Look, suit yourself, but you're eating DNA.
They ordered a single basket of, like, fries or something like that and sat at the bar, and I couldn't leave until that basket was cleaned. And I just sat there and waited as they picked that thing halfway done and then just sat there for an hour. I
hated that more than anything in the restaurant. Right? You go through what you go through. You get busy, emotions get high. That's fine. That's part of the gig. But, man, when they rolled in with like 10 minutes left, because everyone, the server would ask, like, You tell people do appetizers. Right. We're not doing entree. You can get one round. Like, sorry, if they don't like it, they can leave.
Right.
Doesn't matter to me.
Oh, no, you're not coming back? Say it ain't so. And this is the worst.
And if you do come back earlier.
Sounds
And this is the number one worst customer behavior that restaurant servers can't stand. The tried and true, everybody knows it. Terrible tipping.
Oh, well, sure.
Yeah.
Terrible tipping.
Yeah.
If you're going to tip badly, don't tip them at all. If you tip them badly, that is sending a message, and that you better be ready when that one shows up. Just saying. Fire crews in California were called to a van fire, and you'll never believe what they found inside.
What did they find inside?
Tell you all about it at 5:50.
Thank you, sir. Headlines are coming at 5:50. In the meantime, let's get a contestant on the line for Profile This at 206-803-ROCK.
Love the skin you're in with Hand & Stone Massage and Facial Spa's facial services. Enjoy the tranquility and deep relaxation while giving your skin a rejuvenating glow. All facials are tailored to your individual needs using the highest quality ingredients designed to give you healthy, radiant, and younger-looking skin. Visit any one of their 8 Seattle Hand & Stone Massage and Facial Spa locations or book online at handandstone.com. Restrictions apply. See spa for details. T-Mobile's network can help keep you connected to all your favorite podcasts when you're out and about. Whether you're an early bird looking to dive into a daily news podcast or a night owl who wants to catch up on the latest reality TV drama, T-Mobile will keep you connected on their strong and reliable network. T-Mobile covers more highway miles with 5G than anyone. So if you need great coverage, especially when you're on the go, check out T-Mobile. Find out more at T-Mobile.com/CY. That's SEEWHY.
Odyssey celebrates Pride by amplifying the voices, music, and conversations of the LGBTQ plus community. Download the free Odyssey app and listen to podcasts celebrating and having conversations about the issues facing LGBTQ plus Americans, like It's Okay to Say Gay, Queer Intentions, and The Bald and the Beautiful with Trixie Mattel and Katia Zamo. To hear music by and for the LGBTQ plus community, plus podcasts and more, go to odyssey.com/pride or download the free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY.
If you're a contractor, it's now easier for you to do business with the Department of Labor and Industries. Go to lni.wa.gov/skip the line and make an appointment with us ahead of time. No waiting around, no wasted time away from your job site. You get in, get out, and get on your way. Easy. So contractors, just go to lni.wa.gov/skip the line to make an appointment and get back to doing what you do best.
Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 29 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state.
Have you or a loved one been injured in an accident? Are you struggling to recover fair compensation? Look no further. At Phillips Law Firm, the experienced personal injury attorneys will fight for your rights and get you the justice and compensation you deserve. They handle a wide range of cases, including car accidents, slip and falls, medical malpractice, and workplace injuries. Justice is a phone call away, so don't wait. Call today for a free case review. Call 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
Hey, it's Mike Hawk. Join me every Thursday at 1 p.m. exclusively on the Odyssey app as we go live with Odyssey. Join in on the action as we cover interesting facts, top 10 lists, and some fun new games. Follow the Men's Room page on the Odyssey app and join in all the fun Thursday afternoons at 1.
Have we made it to drinking time?
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the Men's Room knows just who it is. So to you we say, bottoms up, sailor. You're the toast of our shot of the day.
Drink time it is, and as usual, we head to the drink desk and Stephen Throwhill to find out who we're toasting.
Yes, indeed. Today we chose the Cleethorpes Wildlife Rescue Team in Lincolnshire, England. Now, they recently received a call from a homeowner who had a wild bird trapped in his wall. Thing is, he'd been hearing the bird noises from inside of the wall, though there was no obvious entry point to that the resident could find, making it a lot more confusing about how the bird got there in the first place. But he could clearly hear the bird, assumed it's in the wall. Nonetheless, the wildlife rescue team was dispatched, and on their way, they got a second call from the same resident. They pointed out, hey, they found a bird, and it was not in the wall. Turns out the bird was under the couch. That's why they're hearing the bird sounds. Also, it wasn't exactly a bird. It was a stuffed Hedwig. That would be the owl character from the Harry Potter movie. Yeah, apparently it makes noise as well, so it was stuck under the couch. Kid couldn't find it. They just thought it was a bird in the walls, so they'd have called him back and just say, hey, no need to show up.
My bad.
It was our stuffed owl, stuffed Hedwig specifically.
Yeah.
There you go. But good news, no bird in the wall. So we pour this booze, and we drink this booze because we think it's yummy.
Yummy!
So over the tongue and down the throat to party in our tummies. Down the hola bichola.
The Men's Room presents Profile This.
Hey, Stephen Throwhill, could you please tell everyone how Profile This is played?
I sure can, Miles. It's a simple game where we share with you a real-life news story. Something that happened right here on planet Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes the story a story. Hello, Jeff. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hey, how's it going?
Hola. All right, Hefe, you understand how this here game is played?
Yes, sir.
Fantastic. You have your choice of one of four stories. We have the wonderful world of drugs. We have bite me. In other words, what did someone find in their food? Interior decorating, where you guess the foreign objects that ended up on the inside of someone. And, of course, hit me with your best shot, where you guess the unconventional weapon that someone chose to use as a weapon.
Can we go, what was inside the body?
We can do that. Oh, I grabbed the wrong story there. Here we go. All right. Here's your story. A 39-year-old married male lawyer showed up at the hospital with a self-inserted object in his rectum. He was unable to remove the object himself in spite of using various other objects, including a back scratcher. He had inserted this object on previous occasions and had been able to remove it. That is why he was confident he could do it again, but he was wrong. They say edema of the rectum and the sigmoid colon precluded that the successful manual removal of the object in the emergency room. A pelvic x-ray film showed the object to be lodged 4 inches away from the dentante line, which I'm not sure, but that can't possibly be good. Now, the 1 inch by 6 inch object was removed manually after a spinal anesthetic. The patient was discharged on the second day of the operation, but he refused psychological counseling. And they only wanted him to go there because he keeps doing it. The question is, what did he slip into his backside? A dildo, a chicken bone, a toothbrush, or a perfume bottle. So dildo, chicken bone, toothbrush, or perfume bottle. One of these was inserted in the backside.
One of them is too obvious. I'm going to go, let's say the perfume bottle.
Perfume bottle for Jeff.
What did I miss?
Dildo, chicken bone, toothbrush, or perfume bottle?
Toothbrush.
I'm going toothbrush, Ted.
Brush your butt.
Oh, they've got those vibrating toothbrushes. I'm going on that, too.
One step ahead of you.
Yeah, I'm with them. The first one seems too obvious. I'm going to go chicken bone.
Chicken bone.
Chicken bone. Okay. I thought that was the obvious one.
All right. What did this guy jam up his balloon knot? Was it a dildo, a chicken bone, a toothbrush, or a perfume bottle? We'll find out next.
Oh, that's me.
That was a tease.
Walk the dogs, school drop-off, meetings from 10 to 3, take kids to soccer, then no time left for a jog.
When everyone else is relying on you, it's easy to put your needs last. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist online, so you can show up for yourself the way you do for others. Visit BetterHelp.com/positive to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp.com/positive.
99.9 KISW. We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
All right, categories: interior decorating on Profile This. We got a 39-year-old man who kept showing up at the hospital after inserting items into his backside. Apparently, it wasn't the first time he'd done it, but he'd done it successfully before a few times. Went for it again. Fortunately for him, the object was removed manually. Question is, what was his choice of tools there? Dildo, a chicken bone, a toothbrush, or a perfume bottle?
And Jeff, that is the very question we posed to you. Let us start with our very own Miles Montgomery. You went with the toothbrush, vibrating or not. I'm afraid it was not a toothbrush. Ted, you went with the chicken bone.
Chicken bone.
Which I appreciate you picking that. However, not a chicken bone in the backside. Jeff, you went a perfume bottle.
Yeah.
You are correct.
You're kidding me.
No.
A perfume bottle.
A perfume. Technically, it was Impulse Body Spray. Anyone familiar with Impulse Body Spray?
I've heard of it.
Yeah, they pointed that out anyway in case some of you want to try it home.
That makes sense. They said, like, I like an aerosol deodorant, but those bottles are all about the same size.
They are, yeah. Yep. So Impulse Body Spray up in the backside.
Now for all TV news all time for TV Time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box, the Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
All right, your choices today. We got some writers.
Of
course, you got the Jimmies.
Kimmel Fallon.
Seth Meyers. Or Ted Smith.
Is it Ted or is it late night?
It's right there, the title. These guys have teams of talents and writers help come up with their monologues each and every night. It is up to you to determine, is this an actual late night joke and from whom? Or could it be a The Ted Smith original?
The hardware store Lowe's is using a 400-pound egg-shaped robot to patrol parking lots at some of their stores. Look, if I wanted a hardware store with no human employees, I'd go to Home Depot.
Fallon.
Yeah, Fallon.
Yeah, it's Fallon.
Amid a rise in shoplifting, Lowe's is using a new 400-pound egg-shaped security robot to patrol parking lots at some of their stores. Listen, if I wanted to go to a hardware store with no human employees, I'd go to Home Depot.
Russia is reportedly restoring decades-old Soviet tanks to use against Ukraine amid a shortage of weapons. Oh, they are struggling. Next thing is just going to be any way to trick out these T-shirt cannons?
Myers.
Fallon. Myers.
Russia is reportedly restoring hundreds of decades-old Soviet tanks to use against Ukraine amid a shortage of weapons and equipment. Oh, they are struggling. Next, it's just going to be any way to trick out these T-shirt cannons.
That one's pretty good. Kraft Heinz. You didn't know Heinz and Kraft are together.
I did not know.
Oh, yeah.
Makes sense.
It's like a giant one. I think it's those two and I almost want to say like Philip Morris. Some crazy thing. Well, they're now delivering new Lunchables to school cafeterias directly. And every single dad in the U.S. was like, yeah, but when I give it to them, and don't forget, 2 Lunchables count as a dinnerable.
Hey, Ted Smith?
Yeah.
Fallon.
I read that Kraft Heinz is delivering new Lunchables directly to school cafeterias across the country. Every divorced dad is like, oh, but when I give it to them. Don't forget, 2 Lunchables counts as a dinnerable.
Tomorrow is the official start of free agency in the NFL. And the big story has been Aaron Rodgers, and will he even stay with the Green Bay Packers? He actually went to a darkness retreat, and tomorrow we find out if he saw his shadow.
Ted Smith.
Yeah, Ted.
Yeah, that is me. But I liked it. So I left it in there.
Yeah.
Right? Microsoft is set to host a Future with AI event. And this is scary. None of the executives can remember who organized it.
Seth?
Yeah, that's Seth.
Microsoft is set to hold a Future of Work with AI event. And this is scary. None of the executives can remember organizing it.
Anybody in here filling out a bracket?
No.
Yeah, I haven't done it in years, but one of my cousins hit me up for her daughter's, I don't know, dance team or school, whatever, so I joined.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I mean, I get it. Sometimes I'll do it for something like that. We read a stat today. The odds of you picking every game right, and I believe it's 53 games total out of it's 1 in 9.5 quintillion?
It's all right, so it's basically impossible to get a perfect bracket.
But not quite.
The odds of finishing with a perfect bracket, guessing all the games correctly, is 1 in 120 billion. But that's kind of assuming you know something about basketball or whatever. If you're a non-fan and you're just flipping a coin, they say here, the odds soar to 1 in 92 quintillion.
So wait a minute. If you know something about basketball,
it's still 1 in 120 billion.
Damn. Right.
Right. So, I mean, right. Like, look, everybody in here, I'm sure, at some point over the last couple of months has watched a college basketball game.
Of course.
Right? And not only that, you'll understand blue bloods, right? Kentucky, North Carolina.
Sure.
UCLA. But, yeah, we would still have a shot of 1 in 120 billion.
And that's because you know something about it. I mean, think about that.
Yeah.
I know what I'm talking about. Therefore, there's a 1 in 120 billion chance that I'm correct.
Yeah, and they're just saying, like, it's not impossible, but it basically is. You have better odds of winning the Powerball with 2 consecutive tickets than you do of finishing a perfect bracket. You have better odds that a family of 4 will all get hit by lightning separately in one lifetime.
Than filling out a correct
bracket. This one's going to hit a little close to home. There's a 1 in 10,000 chance that you get injured by a toilet in your lifetime. So there's better odds the same family of 4 get injured by a toilet than picking a bracket. Okay. Didn't your father get injured by your toilet?
He didn't get injured. He just broke the damn thing. He was fine.
Well, you fell off your toilet because you passed out.
Yes, but I hit the pedestal in the sink. That was really the injury thing there.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if I can credit the toilet on that one.
Well, I was on it when I did it.
No one has submitted a perfect bracket ever. The longest streak of perfection was a very smart man from Ohio. Neuropsychologist?
A neuropsychologist, okay.
Yeah, from Ohio. He managed to pick the first 49 games of 2019. There's 63 games in total, by the way.
So it's 63. He got the first 49 right?
Correct.
Damn.
So they're just saying, like, look, you could fill them out. Obviously, you know, even in this area, right, with the casinos and stuff, you can go to a sports book and sit there and play. I mean, that might not be a bad idea. No, there's some they're nice ones. I know the Emerald Queen Casino's got one.
They will gladly take your money. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's fun, right? Like, I rarely sit in a sports book. We had just done it this past weekend as we were like, oh, my God, look at all the TV, sports, and beer.
Right.
And, I mean, that's part of when you go to Vegas. And, again, this weekend in Vegas is one of the most crowded weekends in Vegas.
Oh, for sure, man, yeah.
We were talking about today on the Megacast. The only kind of funny thing is it's just groups of dudes, you know what I mean, watching college basketball.
Of course, yeah.
So I don't know. You're going for like crazy party weekend in Vegas. I don't know.
Well, it's an all day. I mean, think about when those games tip off. You've got all day action on multiple games. So if you like gambling, that's there's no more sports going on in any other sport at one time than the NCAA tournament.
You're right. And there's games all day, right? I know Maryland's playing West Virginia. I think we have one of the first games tomorrow at like 9:15 a.m. or something.
Oh, really?
Damn. I don't know why I'm saying that. It's at 9:15 or 9:17. I know. I'm like talking about it, and it's like, I know exactly when it is. Yeah, but it's just tough. And I still think it's amazing how crazy it is. But yeah, so with the fact that you know it's basically impossible, I know there's websites or sporting networks you can go to where they're not going to charge you.
They shouldn't.
You just pick out the bracket, and if you get a bracket somewhat close, you could win some money or something. But yeah, it's not like that. And then of course, there's always going to be people that have their own pools and this and that.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of like that. So here's some more numbers for you. This one I like a lot. $16.3 billion. What do you think that number is for?
The number of the wings that will be consumed.
No, it is the loss in productivity, I bet.
Corporate losses due to unproductive workers during March Madness.
A lot of people get vasectomies during this time and take the time off, too.
Yep. 37% of Americans are willing to call in sick or just skip work to watch games.
I'd have called you, but I was watching the game.
I have definitely, not skipped work, but I have definitely left and gone and watched like a game or two with somebody, or like Maryland was playing.
Sure.
You know what I mean? 1.14 billion, that's the annual revenue of the NCAA in 2022.
But they can't pay those kids, man.
I know. Well, that's what I tell people all the time. When, obviously college football is probably the biggest college sport.
Without a doubt.
But this tournament is literally $1 billion thing.
Right. It's a month. It's $1 billion in a month.
You would think that Seattle would get a West Regional occasionally.
They've had a few.
They have, but just not lately.
I mean, they're getting the women's this year.
I was going to say, I know the women's
Sweet
are coming to
16
town.
and Elite 8, I believe.
I want to say they had a Final Four here in like the late 90s.
Okay. So it's been a minute.
Yeah, I've been out to Spokane to see Maryland play. Saw them win one. That was pretty awesome. That's the other thing I would say, too. If you're a college basketball fan, especially if let's say the Huskies are in the tournament, right? You want to go see them play. Go watch them play somewhere. It's a lot of fun. It's kind of like going to a college bowl game.
Yeah.
Except this one matters more. Maryland football's not going to be in a bowl game that matters recently. But
plus a lot of different people to party to that they're not your opponent. So there's no skin in the game, so you can sit there and hang out, and there's no we're going to kick your ass this time because they played 3 games before you.
Right, and we were chirping like Houston. I have no issue to hate the Houston Cougars. Actually, they're the number one team in the country, right? But that year, Maryland did beat them. We were given, in a nice, friendly, kind of chirping way. But yeah, it was a ton of fun. If you're a sports fan, I highly recommend people go to that. Also, $0 what players are being paid to participate in the tournament.
Yes.
12 plus universities, basketball programs have been involved on corruption cases involving payments to players since 2017. Also, never forget, if you're a fan of the movie Goodfellas, in the end, what's get all those guys caught is they were shaving points at Boston College.
Right.
That's how the feds really got involved. They were looking at something, right? And they're like, "Oh man, they're shaving points at a college. Like that's illegal." Mm-hmm. And they went and found, and that's what ends up bringing them all in. Now, of course, it helps when you raid somebody's house and they've got drug scales out and everything like that. This is some March Madness by the numbers. $10.2 million. That's the salary of Kansas Bill Self. He's the highest paid basketball coach. FYI, the school's chancellor and the governor of Kentucky both made a combined $710,000.
Yep.
He gets $10.2 billion.
You look at any state, and the top 2-3 employees are the basketball coach, the football coach, the defensive coordinator. It's pretty routine.
I still ask the question, though, why don't we do that? Like, what do NFL coaches make? Do they put that out?
You know what? Honestly, I don't know.
Because they
you
talking
hear
about
that they get signed, but you rarely hear the salary attached.
Right. But they don't mind talking about what players are getting paid, and I get it, but then a lot of the fans are just like, well, that guy should be happy. It's like, yeah, well, a lot of these NFL coaches should be happy too, but I just don't remember seeing those numbers.
Well, it seems like they have a collective revenue deal in the NFL.
They do, as far as sales of other things, right?
Yeah, but NCAA, it's, they sign contracts with their own networks. They sign contracts with TV. All those things, I think, are somewhat. I mean, either the conference does or whoever does.
So it's both. There's very few schools, but like Texas was famous for that. They just had their own network. Then after a while, they were like, "All right, our football program's a little down, right?" So it's kind of shocking when they joined the SEC, but it's like, yeah, they have the Longhorn Network, and you'll see that in Europe sometimes, right? Like over here, you get a lot of games and stuff, but I'm pretty sure there's just an Arsenal channel that shows like old Arsenal stuff. Let's see. Over $10 billion will be wagered on the 2023 tournament.
Jesus, man.
That's a lot of money.
That is a ton of money.
How much of it you think's illegal?
I don't know.
30%.
It's probably getting better.
So it's $4 billion out of $10 billion.
Well, it used to be 10. It used to be $10 billion.
Yeah, it used to be straight up.
Right, outside of Vegas, it used to be $10 billion. But now with sports books opening up and you can, a lot of states, you can do online gambling as well. So, yeah, that definitely cuts down on that. And honestly, like, look, I know people can lose a lot of money in gambling, but it's kind of like the legalization with marijuana with me. I'm like, I don't know why a guy should have to go see a bookie. If a man or woman wants to place a bet, it's like, can't they just do it online or go somewhere? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if there's bookies listening, but like, once I go to the bookie, I'm kind of dealing with a different element. And same thing with like drugs. Like, sure, I smoked weed before it was legal, but it was kind of nice going to a weed dealer as opposed to other cities where you got to go to like an actual drug dealer.
Right. And, the thing, and I understand that gambling can be a problem, but you can invest in the stock market. If you don't think you're gambling, do not invest in the stock market.
Every state has a lottery.
Right. Every state has a lottery. If you buy a house, right, your hope is that it will increase in value. Sometimes it doesn't, right? And you're in the hole. So, I mean, pretty much everything you do is gambling.
Right, and remember the lottery.
They just don't want you to have fun doing it. That's the problem.
And the lottery, remember, that was just, different sets of gangs that were just running the numbers.
Right.
And then the states got involved and were like, now it's the lottery.
Yeah, called a lottery.
80 million, that's the number of tournament brackets that will be completed.
Jesus.
That's... you got to keep in mind, that's more than half of people that voted in the 2020 election.
Damn.
That's a lot of people.
That is.
Also, there'll be a 19% increase in beer sales during March Madness.
Oh, hell yeah.
Chicken
and
wings
pizza delivery.
Yeah, it's the same thing, right? Like chicken wings go up, pizzas go up, everything else. I mean, I don't know that baseball has that. Like, you have baseball playoffs, right? And the Mariners being involved this year was great.
Sure,
and everything
for
else,
us.
but like the NCAA tournament, when you get to March Madness or college basketball, whatever you want to call it, all that stuff is kind of like a football Sunday.
Yeah.
Or like the Super Bowl, you know what I mean? If Miles is going to make his famous chicken wings, like, he's breaking them out this weekend.
You can go to Buffalo Wild Wings at 5 o'clock in the afternoon and catch an East Coast NBA game or an NHL game, or sometimes they'll start at 4, whatever the difference in time is. But when the NCAA tournament is on, they open early.
Mm-hmm. That's
Those
correct.
places,
That is correct.
And they have so many different teams and so many different fan bases and so many different screens. Like, their day gets going early, and it does not end until late. So even with the NCAA tournament, all those West Coast games, people on the East Coast have to stay up late to watch some of them.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
So it's a full day of, just wall-to-wall sports.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's...
On a Tuesday or a Wednesday or a Thursday.
Right, and you're right. Like, there's bars in my neighborhood that are sports bars, but they're not the biggest bars, but same thing. They've had signs up for 2 weeks saying they're opening at 9 a.m. Thursday and Friday, so people come in there and watch games. And you're right. On the East Coast, you got to stay up late because the games don't start till noon, but they don't end till midnight. Whereas, like, we can get up early.
Yeah, for sure.
Go see some stuff. All right, speaking of coaching and good people, Ted Lasso, if you have Apple TV, third season premiere of that is coming out. Miles, I know you'll be watching Chapter 19 of The Mandalorian.
Where are the socks today, Ted?
What's that?
A Mandalorian socks on today.
Do you really?
Yeah.
What, do you got that little baby guy on there?
No.
That'd be Baby Yoda, Grogu.
I got Mandalorian.
He got the Mandalorians.
Oh. I noticed.
Looks like the Terps on, doesn't it?
Go Terps. It is ironic because we're playing West Virginia tomorrow. Go Terps.
Thank you, Ted. We appreciate it. You're listening to The Men's Room.
You diet, you work out, and still there's that one stubborn spot. Hey, it's Jason. I just went after my stubborn fat by doing cool sculpting at Tureen Dermatology, Minnesota's top cool sculpting provider. Dr. Tureen is my dermatologist. We froze my fat, and those fat cells are gone for good. FDA approved. No pain, no downtime. Ranked top doctor 8 years in a row. Trust the experts at Tureen Dermatology. Call today, 651-633-6883, and say goodbye to stubborn fat.
Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go. A North Carolina family complains her next-door neighbors are driving them nuts. I don't know about you, but smoking marijuana soaked in butane, that takes some guts. It's a really bad day when you pet a zebra and it bites off your arm. Oklahoma monkey will no longer cause the neighbors any harm. And a school bus driver goes all MMA on a middle school student. It is time for your headlines.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's my call.
All right, our top story. We go to California where fire crews got a call about an actual fire.
Hey.
Things are changing. Witnesses called in reports of a van that was engulfed in flames and quickly rushed to the scene and put out the blaze. They were able to get the driver out of the car and get him to a hospital for his injuries, but they got a bit of a shock as several 55-gallon bags of marijuana shake were found inside the van, covered in kerosene. An investigation's been launched, but no reports of any arrest.
I have. What is the deal on that? I'm assuming you don't want to light it.
I don't know.
I don't either.
What is marijuana shake?
Shake is just basically the flour.
It's just the loose stuff.
Like when you go to a store, they're going to take the time. Somebody at that factory is taking the time to clip it so it looks like a nice bud.
Sure.
Shake is just kind of the rest of the stuff that comes off there.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like marijuana's backwash.
Right, and that's where you got all started, like the oils and stuff. A lot of like dabs. That was like a way to use some of that shake.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Okay. I mean, yeah, it was doused in kerosene, so you do want to proceed with caution. But if they're in the bags, is that?
I don't know.
Ruined?
I don't know either. I don't know.
I'm assuming that the intention was to ruin it because the van caught on fire. I don't know why you're transporting kerosene and marijuana at the same time, but, to each their own, I suppose.
He learned his lesson.
I do it all the time.
Ted's rolling down the street. Kerosene. In other news, let's go to North Carolina, where one resident is tired of seeing her neighbor's nuts. She found herself in a bit of a spat with her neighbor as their tree had been dropping tons of hickory nuts onto her property.
Aha.
What? She confronted the neighbor about it, citing fear of creating a dangerous situation as they fall onto her driveway. That makes a bit of a slipping hazard there. But the neighbor still fails to act. Said she has no legal ground to stand on. She's gone to the press instead.
I mean, what are you going to do?
It's one of those where nobody's being all that good neighborly.
I mean, my neighbor's pine tree, and it has those big, massive pine cones.
Yeah.
They drop in my yard all the time.
Right.
I don't care.
Right.
It's fine. I got bigger problems.
Right.
When I eliminate the rest of my problems, I'll take the time to bitch about that.
Right. And oh my God, they're dipping into my yard. Okay, well, if at that point, if the neighbor doesn't want to take care of it, clip the branches
clip it on your side.
Property line, man. Then if they want to have a spat about it, okay, then we can have a spat about it. But it's just
right. Take care of it.
Right. I'm going to run to the press. I'm going to talk to them about it. They won't clean up their nuts.
So the press will say the same thing. Clip the goddamn tree branches, dummy.
Right. Ta-da! There you go. Problem solved. Can we just be better? Let's just be better. Hey, to Oklahoma, where a woman had a run-in with a monkey. She was inside of her home when she saw a monkey sitting on her porch, attempting to get into the house, which, to be honest with you, is a bit of a nightmare.
Did you see the video of it at all?
No, I did not.
It's not a small monkey. I mean, Is
it actually a sizable monkey?
It's a sizable monkey, right. I mean, it's not in the great ape category, but as far as monkeys go, it is a big monkey. So if that thing's trying to get into your house, I'd be very uncomfortable.
Yes, because he could.
Yeah, easily.
She called authorities, who did arrive on the scene in good time, and the monkey had seemed to calm down a bit. When she opened the door to work with authorities, the monkey found a new rejuvenated energy and attacked the woman, ripping at her hair and pulling a full Mike Tyson, nearly tearing the ear off of her head.
Mm-hmm.
The monkey took off before it could be wrangled and fell victim to a more prepared neighbor that interacted with it.
Get a cat.
For real.
It's something.
I don't know why in this day and age people still own monkeys.
I don't know. People, look, it's never going to change. There will always be the people fascinated.
There will always be Ohio.
Right.
There will always be. Or Oklahoma in this case. Mm-hmm. Which is, okay. Yes.
Ohio's the kingpins of that, though.
Right. And I'm sure
because the Amish dealers, honest to God.
A lot of the time, the monkey's very affectionate, very nice little pet, you bet.
Until it's not.
Right. And they're almost a time bomb at this point.
Yeah, you're right. Like, you don't meet a lot of people who are like, you know what you got to get? Monkey.
Right. And this isn't even a case of, there are no bad monkeys, just bad monkey owners. Like, okay.
Nah, monkeys got to make their own decisions.
They're a little nuts, man. They're not.
They're not domesticated.
Right.
You can make the argument for dog. Like, you domesticate. You basically, through eugenics, created kind of breeds of dogs that you want.
Sure.
Right? That's what we've got. Monkeys, you just got a monkey.
You got a monkey. I got it. A man in California really didn't want to talk with police. Authorities attempted to stop the man at 5 a.m. as he was driving without headlights. But instead of cooperating, he sped off, leading officers on a short chase before he ran the car through a fountain near the center of a local plaza, flipping the car several times in the process. They moved the man from the vehicle and took him to the hospital for his injuries. Subsequent investigations discovered that he not only had unserialized handguns inside the car with a high-capacity magazine, but he also had stolen the car that he had now destroyed. He'll be arrested following his visit to the hospital there.
He's going to have fun.
He's going to have a great old time. But that's it for your headlines. With that, Mike Hawkins out.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. Tomorrow, the head chef's back with Ted's Meat and Potatoes and another round of Big Dummy.
Yes, indeed. It is all true. But in the meantime, well, we be all about this bitch for 180 seconds or so. So until then, please do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.
The Men's Room has been taped before a live studio audience. Wardrobe and makeup provided by Mantastic Limited. This has been a presentation of the Men's Room Radio Network.
Oh, man!
A Double Flush production.
Love the skin you're in with Hand & Stone Massage and Facial Spa's facial services. Enjoy the tranquility and deep relaxation while giving your skin a rejuvenating glow. All facials are tailored to your individual needs using the highest quality ingredients designed to give you healthy, radiant, and younger looking skin. Visit any one of their 8 Seattle Hand & Stone massage and facial spa locations or book online at handandstone.com. Restrictions apply. See spa for details.
What you watch depends on what kind of mood you're in. Sometimes you're craving comedies like Friends or South Park, and sometimes you're more into dramas like HBO's Succession and House of the Dragon. There's also cooking shows like Chopped and Beat Bobby Flay, and even movies like The Lord of the Rings and Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Well, Max is the streaming destination that has the best of entertainment for whatever mood you're in anytime. And plans start at as little as $9.99 a month. Max, the one to watch. Subscription required. Visit max.com.
T-Mobile's network can help keep you connected to all your favorite podcasts when you're out and about. Whether you're an early bird looking to dive into a daily news podcast or a night owl who wants to catch up on the latest reality TV drama, T-Mobile will keep you connected on their strong and reliable network. T-Mobile covers more highway miles with 5G than anyone. So if you need great coverage, especially when you're on the go, check out T-Mobile. Find out more at T-Mobile.com/CY. That's SEEWHY.
If you're a contractor, it's now easier for you to do business with the Department of Labor and Industries. Go to lni.wa.gov/skip the line and make an appointment with us ahead of time. No waiting around, no wasted time away from your job site. You get in, get out, and get on your way. Easy. So contractors, just go to lni.wa.gov/skip the line to make an appointment and get back to doing what you do best.